Thought about that.
Yeah, you sure? All right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to MacYak number 49, the
Hi,
one year
guys.
anniversary edition. Oh, that's looking good on the stream. I like it. Awesome. So,
Now,
as you can see, we have a lot of people here. I don't
we
know
also
if.
don't. Not all the feeds are showing up.
Yeah, I was about to say that. We don't
We'll
have
get to
Mike
that.
and we don't have Brent.
I'm gonna guess I have to speak before it'll let me say something. No, is it not even that?
Don't know. Oh yeah, there you are. Yeah,
Hey, we got Brent. Oh,
That's
Brent
nice.
talks
Good old
and we
Skype. That's
lose
okay.
Ken.
Oh, so if I don't talk, it just makes me
Yeah,
go
it
into a
bumps
blue...
off the last two people that haven't been talking.
Oh,
I hope you have something to say, because if not, Skype will give you.
call
See,
me Ishmael.
This never would have happened if we stuck to FaceTime. Just saying.
Hey, this looks good though. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
8 apparently is the limit of video feeds.
And it encourages us to keep talking.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Yeah, they're
well,
on
now
there.
we know.
We
So
have to work
with
for our
us
screen
tonight,
time on
we
this
have,
show now.
We have a few of our previous guests and a new face. So we're going to start with the new face. Hi, Brent.
Hello.
We got Brent and Ken from the Computer Clan on.
That's us.
And let's see. Yep, Brent is showing on the stream. Okay, perfect.
For now.
It would be weird to introduce somebody and not see them. So that worked out. We also have Michael Manna from Stevie Rich's Fitness. And he's been on, 4 times total now, I think?
3, I think.
Yeah,
3 times.
Well, quite a few times. And then we have Christian of Macintosh Garden, who's probably also his 3rd time right now, right?
I have no idea. I'm counting.
4th. All right. Yep. And thank you for wearing clothes this time. I appreciate it. So tonight is going to be very loosely structured. As I forget to hide my notifications, Stevie Richards has a new video. Look at that. Okay. So we don't really have any set topics. We're just going to talk about basically the last year. What have we been up to? What have our guests been up to since they were on the stream last? And we're basically winging it, so it should be fun. That's what we do best.
Important thing though first, Jay.
No. We're going to skip over that.
What?
What's that?
We should all start singing.
All right, fine.
Should we sing
It's
now?
Greg's birthday.
No.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I'm not
Oh,
singing.
we gotta do
We
it.
gotta
now.
do it.
I'm not singing.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's
Go
gonna
ahead.
1,
happen.
2, 3. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you.
Oh, that's sad.
It's pretty sad.
Okay, that's it.
I'm not into this.
Happy birthday to you, Greg. Happy birthday to you. There you go.
That was the worst birthday song I've ever heard.
Well,
And it was
By the
live
way,
on Mac.
That's what makes it special. It's one of
I've
a
been
kind.
talking, and my video feed's still not popping back up.
That's okay.
Yeah,
It's
no,
your
but
birthday
that's all
present.
right.
There you
Oh,
go.
you kicked me off now. Okay.
all right, they're saying
There
I'm really low, so I don't know. Let me pull up my
Yeah,
volume.
we need Mike to speak. He's been a blue screen the whole time. Where are you, Mike?
Eep.
Yeah, that's going to make a difference. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I wanted to start off with a quick recap of what MacYak is about, how we started and all that, because also as of today, we have 400 subscribers. Yay.
Oh yeah.
So
403.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of people here that have no idea how this got started and what we're all about. So
I'm still wondering how this got started.
It started with UT.
Yes.
It did.
Yes. Actually, GT, you want to take this one?
Yeah. It started with us playing UT, and then group FaceTime became a thing. So we all got on group FaceTime, us 4 or 5, I think it was 5 of us at the time. Steve was came in later, but it was 5 of us. It was me, Jay, Grudy, Rocky, and Mike. we all played UT together, and so we decided to get on there. So we made our own little chat group on there. In fact, it's still going strong today, well over a year now. I bet you we could probably find stuff in there from about a year ago. Anyways,
Oh yeah.
so we started talking like this back and forth. We were just discussing technical things and everything. Then we got on group FaceTime once it came out. And we said, hey, this is pretty cool. So we started doing that daily. I mean, all of us were talking and talking. So I think one of us, I can't remember who it was, came up with the idea, why don't we put this on the internet? Maybe people will be interested in it. And sure enough, people were actually interested in the crap we were talking about, you know? So
Yep.
That about sums it up.
That's-
And we did that. We started that on November 22nd last year. We started streaming it.
Yeah, we started it on GT's channel too.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't
Yep.
even have a Maciac channel.
Yeah.
FaceTime, however, turned out to have some, how do I say this nicely? It was garbage.
It was terrible.
And it just never worked right. So we started experimenting with Discord and finally ended up on Skype. We wanted to do group FaceTime because, you know, Mac-Yak, we wanted to use an Apple product.
Yeah.
But Skype is where we ended up because it just works a lot better. It still has some issues, the occasional drops connection and stuff, but it works a lot better than FaceTime ever did. So that was how it started, and we've had some really cool stuff done for a channel this small. You know, group of guys just talking about Mac stuff. We had a whole bunch of guests, and I might forget one, so help me out here, guys. We had Colin Mister.
I think we've had them all written down on the thing there.
In the
Jay.
Yeah, I
show
forgot.
notes.
I
Yeah.
forgot to open
well,
those.
if you look on the screen
You're
right
the guy
now,
hosting, man.
if you look on the
I
screen
know.
right now, that is Colin Mister, first time ever showing his face.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
He's the
Yep.
guy on the right.
Man, that's before Jay started wearing a hat regularly.
I
Back
know,
when we all needed
but the
sunglasses.
glare. The light is above me. You can't see anything with the glare coming off my head, so I started wearing hats. So we had Colin Mister, Christian has been on before, Ken, Michael Manna has been on. We had Michael MJD, Wendy and Ryan talking about the graphics on the Mac, Dan Basher of Low End Mac, Dana Evans and Nick Bustamante, two guys that we know and play UT with as well. They joined us a few times, and I'm probably forgetting a few people. So for a small channel that doesn't really talk about much, that was a pretty impressive list of guests, and it's been a blast every time. So let me see. I pulled up the show notes. There you go.
You actually pulled them up for a change? Well, actually, you have them up
I
all
did.
the time.
I did. So as Grudy just said, we had Colin Mister, DOS Dude 1. I'm sure at least a few of us are running his patcher to support the latest OS on our Macs. We actually got him to show his face on the stream, so that was a first. And let's see, Steve. Steve is a special case.
Yeah, he started out as a guest.
I see where this
We
is
had
going.
Steve as a guest in episode 7, and we just couldn't get rid of him. He just kept coming back every week. He was there, and I said in episode 12, we're like, "Well, welcome to the team. You're now official Magiac." So that was episode 12.
Yeah.
We're now
Doesn't
on
take much,
49.
fellas. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think
and
Steve
we've
was
had.
lonely, that's all.
Yeah.
Aw,
As you know, I have such infinite spare time.
yes, you do. So we got fast forward. We now have a Discord channel that Rocky started. Has 100-some members on it, always chatting along. We have a Twitter account that Steve started. I've never looked at it, so I know what's going on there, because I don't use Twitter. And
Mike, cut it out.
what? What happened?
Mike's playing sound effects.
Oh,
That's good.
Mike
Keeps us
does.
awake.
Not intentionally.
At least we don't have to yell at him yet for his cat. That'll happen. We're only 12 minutes in. That'll happen. So, and we had a I think 2 Unreal Tournament live streams where all the viewers were invited, and that was
One.
fun.
We had one where the viewers weren't, and then one where they were.
Did we have another
okay.
one? When was
Yeah.
it?
Did we?
When was the other one?
The
On
other one was
Halloween.
On
no,
Halloween, but
before
we
that.
never actually
Yeah.
did it.
We did.
Oh, the Halloween one?
Oh.
Yeah, that was a Halloween one, but we didn't actually broadcast it.
Yeah, so we only had one.
Oh, okay.
All
We
right.
had that
One
one
and a
where
half.
we didn't have everybody invited a long time ago. We did
Yeah.
a whole
Well, either
show
way,
where we were playing Unreal.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
So-
show got kind of colorful in language too, as a matter of fact.
Very colorful in language, but we put
Oh,
a
man.
warning out. Once Unreal Tournament starts, there is no filter or anything like that. So
I thought you said cuddleful at first, and I was like,
No.
we
what the hell
come
does
to-
that mean?
we come to after the show. There's a lot of cuddling. Just stick around, you'll see. So that's basically the last year in a nutshell for MacYak. But I also, since we have our guests on, I wanted to revisit a few of the topics that brought them to the show in the first place and see, how that evolved. So I want to start off with Mr. Mana. You joined us in episode 5 because we saw a post from you on Mac Pro Upgrade or Mac Pro Users about a video you did about the T2 chip. And we were like, hey, this guy has something to say. We want him to say it on MacYak. So you were looking for a new Mac, but you didn't want anything with a T2 chip. And fast forward to today, what have you got? Did you buy anything? Or?
Well, fast forward to today. There's even more that they have in the machines that I don't want, meaning soldered SSDs, soldered RAM. Apple Care or built-in warranties don't quite get honored the way they should. They don't have the awesome or amazing rule anymore, I guess, on certain people to swap out stuff. The butterfly keyboards kept me away from the laptops, but the blessing in that was the fact that I started the iPad laptop replacement series after iPad OS came out. This thing, I've been editing videos on it. I've been editing photos. Most of the videos you see up on my YouTube channel have been done with Switcher Studio using iOS devices. Basically, Switcher Studio is kind of like using a TriCaster for iOS.
Oh, wow.
And you can hook up to 9 cameras on the same Wi-Fi network and do switches, B-roll, logos, graphics, lower thirds, all that stuff. And plus, I plug my Rodecaster Pro into it through the USB-C hub, and it runs perfectly fine. I run wireless lav mics. So that kind of prompted me, if I'm going to have soldered SSD and RAM, I'm going to use the iPad Pro. And
Right.
it served me very well. But I'm still on a 2014 5K iMac, looking to upgrade, but more so looking to, I got a case out there and a bunch of components, looking to do a Hackintosh, which failed me a couple weeks ago. I got it up and running, but I kept getting kernel panics on the restarts, on the initial boot ups after everything was good. I'm just trying to measure whether I want to go through the trouble or if I want to pay. Now what I'm aware of is an exorbitant Apple tax of like $1,000 or more compared to what I can do with building it myself.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question? That's a long ass answer.
Yeah, so we're losing you on the hardware side, but you want to stick with macOS?
Oh yeah. I mean, I looked at DaVinci Resolve on the PC side, and I've already heard about nightmares on 16.1 and 16.1.1. I don't want to do Adobe Premiere on a subscription model. It's probably 1A and 1B are video editing, photo editing, and then 2 is doing content streaming, which I'm covered on the iPad Pro. Like I said, with Switcher Studio, I can stream and record and have a finished, basically podcast product. But it's hard to say because, piecing it together, let me put it this way. The tower, the components and all that stuff are actually easier than even picking out the monitor that's going to measure up to the 5K screen on the iMac.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a hard decision to make.
That 5K screen is amazing.
Oh,
It really is.
I don't have one. I'm working with two very old 24-inch 1080p screens. But when my wife needs help with her Mac, 2014 5K, I sit down and I'm, wow, it's nice. Especially when I get back to my own desk, like, wow, this is garbage. Because I'm just staring at that 5K screen. It's definitely
Well,
very nice.
I'm actually selling.
Is there something out there that?
There
It would
is.
probably. What's that?
There is. They're produced by, I believe Dell sells the knockoff variant of it, but I think LG is the producer that Apple's been using, and they license them to produce a Apple approved variation of like their Pro monitors. And they're, I don't know if they sell the 5K variant of the 27-inch, but I know they at least put out a 4K, and it's supposed to be the same exact screen as what Apple approves.
Okay.
Yeah, man,
What
I
about
would
the
love to go with.
curved
I would love to go with a wide screen or something, and where I can do 4 quadrants, like the 43-inch LG one that does some stuff. That way, I can actually stream video games and have the video game up on the same exact screen, and not have any kind of movement with that. It's just difficult. It's difficult because no matter which way you put it, Apple has been so smart in pricing their products that when you piece it together and throw the monitor in, you're like, my God, it's where an iMac is. And now I got to get RAM. I got to get a Thunderbolt dock so I can get the I/O that a standard motherboard would give me. It's hard to say,
Mm-hmm.
This is like the only thing I'm not confused about is this iPad Pro is a lot more powerful and useful than many people give it credit for. iPad OS has been probably the best thing that Apple has done in 5 to 7 years.
Wow, that's quite a
Yeah,
claim.
that's pretty
I have no
cool.
experience with it yet, but my dad has an iPad Mini, and
Speaking
he switched.
If I can just get this out real quick, this iPad Pro on 4K videos in LumaFusion, basically edits, scrubs, does all that stuff, and exports it right to YouTube from LumaFusion quicker than my 2014 iMac and quicker than the MacBook Pro from 2 years ago, the 13-inch.
Wow.
what?
That's
So
nuts.
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
But
I guess ARM is the future.
The future.
speaking of good things that Apple did, though, and I'm sure a lot of you know this now, but them ditching the butterfly mechanism was a great idea. They're back to the scissor switch. I got to touch it for the first time today, and it felt amazing.
I touched one at the Apple store because right where I live at now, I live about 1.5 miles away from an Apple store.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I pressed that escape key like 100
I
times.
did too.
Yes,
I did too.
We're all such dorks.
How's the travel?
It's just like this. It's just like the Magic Keyboard I've been using forever. It feels just like it.
Wow.
Maybe like
they
a
brought the
quarter of a
feeling
millimeter
back.
thinner. Yeah.
Wow.
Has
So much
has
better.
iFixit done a teardown yet? They did a whole dust
Yes,
they
test
did.
with the
They did.
butterfly.
Yeah, they did do a teardown. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they increased the travel by a 0.5 millimeter from the butterfly. So it's
Nice.
right there with that. And it's clicky like a butterfly, so it's not even mushy like I have the old wired Magic Keyboard or whatever, the older version.
That's the keyboard I'm using.
But let me ask a question. I asked, I think, the first time I came on here, and this is for everybody. How can Apple be rated like the greenest company on the planet when everything is soldered on and disposable?
Oh,
I've always
yeah.
wondered that.
Yeah.
There goes our 2 hours because I can talk about this forever or rant about it. More like it. They can't. I don't know how they can make that claim, especially with their repair strategies and all that stuff. Yeah.
I think it stems back to, at least from what I remember hearing Steve Jobs on stage being like, "Oh, our products are highly recyclable. There's glass and aluminum." It's like, okay. So the broken glass on these iMacs that I see at the curb all the time, that's recyclable?
Yeah, because, I mean, it might be very recyclable once you melt it all down, but what about all the stuff that ends up not being recycled, that is being tossed in a landfill or, because people can't fix it? I don't know.
I'd be very interested to see what Apple actually does when you send them, because you could recycle stuff through them. They have a program. I'd be very interested to find out what they actually do with anything from a CRT monitor to an iPad with a broken logic chip somewhere on the board.
I doubt they'll ever
the Liam
reveal
robot
that,
just
though.
reaches in and rips it all apart and throws pieces everywhere, just like in the video.
Yeah. Yeah, because they do have a fancy iPhone take-apart robot thingy, right?
Yeah.
They say they do. The reality is that somebody did a news story on it, and Apple actually just ships it out to be destroyed. They don't recycle anything. They ship it out to be destroyed.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very green.
No,
But
it doesn't.
I had this discussion, I think, it might have been on Maciac, I don't know anymore, when they did the article, like, 100% of our stores are now powered by green energy. And I knew in an instant that was complete BS, because I can point to at least 5 stores that are inside a mall.
Yeah.
And that mall is not going to pay extra for special green energy. They have a contract for energy as cheap as possible. And you can bet that it's not green energy. It's just coal or nuclear or wherever they get it from.
Yep.
So that claim alone was like, nah, they're full of it. There's no way. 100% of your stores.
Well, we had a whole show on that, remember?
We did?
Yeah, we talked about their energy and their lies and.
Yeah, I think we did. I don't remember if I was there, but I remember us talking about the topic.
Well, I rant about it so often that it kind of blurs together. So.
Well, that's because you're in the repair business, so you have a stake in that.
Yeah. Well, the more repairability, the more job security for me. So that's why. But also all the stuff that I pick up from recyclers. Right now, I pick up G4s and, iMacs and old stuff that I can still fix up and swap parts. And 10 years from now, I'm going to go to that same recycler and it's all going to be butterfly keyboards and soldered on stuff. So, what am I going to do?
We'll see.
There go my recycling hunting days.
Well, no. Okay, Ken just said he never tosses his computers in the garbage, just for the record. I remember a show where you donated or sent a lot of stuff to the recycler and you regretted it.
Recycle.
Okay, they said they recycle. I don't know what they do. I didn't throw it in the garbage. I gave it to them. Maybe they threw it in the garbage. I hope not.
Yeah, but we're talking about you giving away your Apple II stuff for one instance.
Okay, honestly, I regret. Seriously, I regret everything. There was a Duo dock in there. There was a PowerBook Duo.
Monster!
I know. Trust me, I'm revisiting that scenario in an upcoming collab episode, and I'm gonna make fun of myself for it. It's gonna be funny. Stay tuned.
Are you gonna flog yourself?
With the PowerBook Duo.
No, he's got to flog himself with conversion technology cables.
With a lot of cables, just. Hey, I clicked the button that said, "No, this channel is not for kids," so Copa can piss off.
Well, we're not for kids either, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to have people chat.
So before I move on to Christian, I want to ask Michael: are you going to be making videos about Hackintoshing, the whole process, the successes and the failures, or not really?
Well, I was told that it wouldn't be a good idea. So, I don't know. I guess I'm the guy that's always going to bring up something that's going to get everybody to talk for 2 hours. But
well, Michael, I did bring that up. But if you generalize how you're doing it, like you can't really show how it's being set up, but you can talk about how you set it up, basically. And I coincidentally set him up with Colin Mister to help figure all this out. But, if you generalize it and don't get too specific, Apple won't do anything. You'll be fine.
I thought the thing was, too, that if you already own a Mac, which I have proven the iMac's behind me in all my videos, might not be behind me for long. If I get the Hackintosh running, might be going to sellyourmac.com.
It still violates the EULA.
Okay. Well, here's my question then. This is what'll probably get me in trouble, because this is a very sensitive person. The Morgonaut YouTuber made up this, I assume, made up a huge story that, she was giving all her stuff away for free, her EFI files or the folders, the text and everything. But because people were harassing her and trolling her and threatening her with criminal prosecution, not Apple, other Hackintoshers, that she needed to put it behind a paywall on Patreon. She'd give it to you for free. And then when I looked at the beginner's tutorial for Hackintosh, I was like, this is really good. And then I said, there's something, because I looked at the vanilla build on that website, the standard vanilla build, and she had left out 2 or 3 steps, maybe because of what you said.
Yeah.
But also, within the comments, they were like, hey, I looked for the AFI folder you were talking about. I looked for this and that. And she would respond with the Patreon address. Hey, I considered giving her like $30 because I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm pissed off. Like, this is frustrating.
I think she's just trying to protect her ass, to be honest.
I have different thoughts on that, but I'm not going to voice them.
Well, Morgan can be an interesting person. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I think is that this comes from somebody that averaged 1 to 2 death threats a week for the past 30 years, if I'm lucky. This person is like, people are saying stuff or they're whatever they say on YouTube comments. I don't really read mine all that much anymore because it'll get to you after a while. But yeah, I thought she was on the verge of, like, I don't know, jumping off a roof, like the last question and answer thing she did.
She can be very,
you see what I'm
dramatic.
saying? You gotta have a little bit thicker skin about that. I mean, she was getting mad at people who were telling her she was pretty in the comments. She was getting all bent out of shape about it. I'm like, what? Wait, does everything make you mad? And then I actually emailed her. I emailed her to try to get, I said, I really want to sign up for the Patreon. I go, I'm willing to pay. This spot isn't open. If you have an extra spot open, I'd be happy to give you $30 to help me with this. This is my setup and everything. Never answered me. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. It's neither here nor there. I've always been very curious about that situation because that's why I came up with the idea about possibly doing something a little bit more detailed for free on YouTube, because it seems to have really angered the Hackintosh community that this person is. I mean, I don't see anybody that's wrong or right in this, but you guys see what I'm saying. Like, if there could be some kind of repository, even if it's on, TubeBuddy or Library or something off of YouTube, to put up on that vanilla build to be a nice little visual resource for people. Hell, even if people do screencast or green screenshots, every little bit would help for a noob like me to kind of get through those difficult points.
Yeah, and I've been there before, going through the exact same thing as you did, because since they first released Tiger as a developer beta that was Intel compatible, I've been playing around with Hackintosh stuff. So I've been there since the beginning, and it's to the point where you can find some guides online, but everything is changing so frequently that, stuff that's posted a few months ago, Apple does an update and no longer works or whatever. But I also think that some of the things I've seen is like some guy will, create a K-text or whatever they're called, and it'll be a driver for a graphics card or Ethernet or audio. And they did it. They modified it. They did whatever. And they obviously want to, you have to sign up for my form or whatever. But it's free. You just have to sign up, register or whatever. And then somebody may take that and may say, oh, well, here's my downloads of drivers. You have to buy this DVD. Or I've seen so many USB keys on eBay that are just like, oh, this will turn your Dell Optiplex into a Hackintosh or whatever. So, yeah, it's a mess, and it would be nice, Michael, if there were stuff like that. If there was, a place. There's a few sites that come to mind. I'll send you some links, but I'm not sure how active they are anymore.
Like Tony Mac and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's where the confusion came in. Oh God, I'm sorry.
There's a very well-known website for Hackintosh. Tony something. I
Tony
forgot the
Mac.
name of it.
I just said it.
Oh, okay. And I've heard that they have all the resources to help you out, but the forum is like the Wild West.
It is.
People screaming, cursing, flinging poop at each other.
A bunch of 12-year-olds probably trying to, hack their mom's Pentium 4 to run, Mojave. This is what you're up against.
Well, that's why I thought the vanilla build would be the way to go, because I see that it can last a lot longer without any kind of conflicts. I was just very interested in doing it. I don't want a Hackintosh. I'd rather just be able to go right to work. And that's kind of what we covered in the very beginning, that the pulling me one way or the other. I even considered going to a PC just because, my God, yeah. I've considered doing that because I was talking about DaVinci Resolve. It has a lot of power. That neural engine in that video editing app is crazy how you can edit. And I mean, if you guys never look into it, it's for Mac and PC as well as Linux. It has a neural engine in it. Like it'll literally, because sometimes I hold too long on talking headshots, I can set it to say, hey, if a clip is longer than 25 seconds, it detects it as boring, the boring detector. So I could put B-roll in it.
On my videos.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, like, you know how people switch their headshots and they go closer or further away and stuff? You can either insert B-roll or they have an auto close-up thing. They have optical flow. They have all these different buttons that you can press.
That's neat.
So if I go to a part where I'm like, blah, 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 and they do that pause where they're like thinking, I can click auto close-up because it has face detection in the app.
That's cool.
It'll face detect all of us. Say we're all in my timeline editing or in the bin, the media bin. I'll say find faces. It'll find all the faces. I'll type in all our names. Then I could set up the scenes for each of us. And then when I want to look up a scene with Greg or somebody, boom, it's right there. Insert. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's pretty damn cool. I think you guys would like it.
That sounds like it needs some pretty intense hardware, though.
It's one of the few that relies a little bit more on the GPU than the CPU because of all the neural engine and the graphics and it's got more features than the entire Adobe suite, all labeled like goes left to right from cut, edit, Fusion, which is motion, Fairlight, which is like Logic Pro, and then you can deliver right within a left to right linear timeline. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Jeez, that's awesome.
And they got a free version too, by the way. They got a free version you could try out. And I don't work for them, by the way, but I should after this.
But because I shoot all my stuff with Blackmagic, I will plug DaVinci Resolve because it is also a Blackmagic product. Buy it now.
You do?
Yep, I shoot all Blackmagic.
You shoot with the pocket camera?
I have an Ursa Mini and a Pocket Cinema 6K, yeah.
Or go sign up for Linode.
or sign up for Linode using my code CompClan20. Link in the description. But anyway,
I'm still running a beta cam
over here. Blackmagic is like the best.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm way out of my depth here. I still record with my iPhone. I'm sorry.
I have some Canons that I'm going to switch to eventually, but I still record with my iPhone. It's just easier right now.
Well,
no, I just figured out how to do a lower thirds in Final Cut, so switching to another app is probably not going to happen for me anytime soon, but I will check it out.
Adobe Premiere 1.0, I'm just going to go back to using that like I did on Crazy Ken.
Good old, you did pretty good with Final Cut 4 on the G3.
What? Wait a minute. Hang on. They're gonna put me in jail because Randy Ubillo saw the video, and he didn't throw me in jail yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Wait. Let's see. Okay, Greg, you're keeping up with the comments,
yes,
right?
I am. You're in charge.
Oh God, that's one way to mess up a show. Good thinking. All right. Let's see if Christian is still awake. Are you still here, Christian?
I am.
Okay. Man, this is way out of whack on my phone. You joined us in episode 12, and you were talking about something, Phil. You were talking about your website, MacintoshGarden.org, which most of us, if not everybody, knows. At the time, you were doing some fancy stuff with your code. You were doing some server upgrades, hard drive upgrades, and all that stuff. And fast forward to today, where are you at? How's the website doing?
It's doing pretty good. Still doing coding on and off when time allows. Server upgrades have been done, so that's pretty nice. Lots of new stuff coming whenever time allows.
Like?
Well, there's a public API that will allow developers to plug into the database, pull lots and lots of metadata for their own websites, applications for 68K max and up and above, you name it. That's pretty much the biggest thing that's coming. And there will be, pretty much a rehaul of the entire website. It should be compatible with 68K max running System 7, Netscape 3, and
That got
above.
Steve very excited.
Yeah, he perked up a little bit there.
Yeah, honestly, no, but I'm so excited because I literally will download something from a G4 system, put it on a file share folder, and then ship it over to System 7 over the network just because I can't download it on an old Mac. So that'd be awesome.
Apparently, hey, Christian, in the chat there, some Leon Lionheart said, I guess he's been banned, his IP.
Oh, yeah. That's like a false positive. The system does it every now and then. So what he could do is either mail me or put his IP in a private message on Discord, and I'll have it resolved within minutes.
Yeah.
Right, because you do have a Discord server where you put your news and all that stuff as well, right?
Yeah, and I'm on the MacYak channel as well.
Yep, never shuts up.
Yes.
It's like, dude, you got your own server. Go.
Well, Grudy has his own server, but he never checks it.
Oh, yeah, that's not
I keep forgetting I have one, honestly. That's why I've never announced
You got people
it.
joining your server, and I'm the one saying welcome after 4 days because
Yeah,
there's no
thank
one
you.
there. It's bad. All right.
So yeah, false positives on Macintosh Garden. It picks up every now and then some innocent people who just want to visit the site, download some files, whatever. Like 1 in 1,000 or so. You should see blogs.
So you're saying Leon should play the lottery. He's one of the lucky few.
He's one of the lucky few among all the Chinese, Russians, and Indians and whatever. The amount of bots visiting the sites is it's crazy, pretty much.
Oh man,
how many millions are we talking?
There's like 10 plus every second that's hammering the site.
Wow.
And last time you were on, you started a Patreon. How's that going?
I have no idea. I haven't checked in. I write every now and then.
I see the updates.
Yeah, I pop in and I write something every now and then, and that's it.
Okay, but
I
you're
haven't
not,
checked
you're
the
not taking
finances or
those
anything.
funds, and you're not driving a
You
Bentley
currently
just
have
yet.
6 Patreons and $29 a month, sir.
Wow, nice.
Oh,
AKA, you're making more than I am on
That's
Patreon.
because he does a lot more
That's
than
good.
you do. No, I'm kidding.
Ouch.
Wow. Low blow.
Well, a lot of my $5 supporters dropped down to $1, but I won't name names.
Hey, I'm still a $5.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to drop you completely by the time the stream is over, but
Hey, hey.
so. All right, well, I'm glad to hear that the garden and your Patreon is on the up, because definitely whenever it happens on Discord, like, oh, I can't find this, I can't find that, and I link someone to Macintosh Garden, and they find it, like, oh. I said, dude, don't forget, he also has a Patreon, because if someone deserves some cash coming their way, I would say it's you and Macintosh Garden, because I know from experience running a website with that much traffic, especially all the hardware that you connect on the back end, is not cheap. So definitely appreciate
It's not.
it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
and then we move on to Crazy Ken. first
I didn't have
joined
anything
us
to say.
in
and Brent.
episode 26.
And Brent,
Yeah.
don't forget Brent.
But yes, that's true.
I
Brent's
was
here too,
going to
but-
get there. Dude,
Yeah, let him do his thing, man.
dude.
Continues.
This is my first time hosting. I'm sweating everywhere. Give me a break. So you showed up to talk about the vintage Apple Vault the first time,
Right.
and like most of our guests, you've been back a few times since then.
Mhm.
But this is the first time you're bringing Brent. So
Yes.
what is your relation to each other? What do you guys do?
So the main reason I brought Brent here is because Greg said I should. And when I say Greg, I mean Grudy, because I think he was the first one that asked about that.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, Brent, say
But
something
anyway,
so
Brent-
we can get your video up there, because your video.
Oh yeah, Brent, make a noise.
Yeah. Can I maybe be seen on the show? If I shout long enough, I'll get there.
Eventually.
There he goes.
There we go.
Hey, I took out Rocky, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, so Brent and I collaborated. We've been collaborating on YouTube for a couple years now, and we just kept collaborating. So I was like, hey, I need a co-producer to like bounce ideas off of, and then I find out Brent does graphic design stuff. So actually, all of the visual, I don't know if many people know this, all like the visual branding of Vintage Apple Vault, the way the titles look and all that stuff, that's all Brent. He made all that stuff.
Cool. Good job.
Yeah, I animate it and composite it, but he like did all the drawing. He gave like the beige texture look to everything, the fonts, that was him.
Yes.
I made the giant vault door thing, but he did everything else.
Yes, he did the 3D stuff. I did
Yeah.
all the 2D work, establishing what font faces should be used, sizes, weights, establishing a color scheme, mainly the beige. I call it 128K beige on the ID board.
Yep, it's on the brand board. He calls it 128K beige.
Didn't you guys win like a Streamy or something for all that work?
Yes, we won a telly for cinematography because, I mean, the show, we spend a lot of time and money just to shoot the show. It's definitely more produced than a Crazy Ken episode. And that was a telly for Volume 1. Volume 2, I think everyone who's seen it will agree, was way better. And Volume 3 is going to knock your socks off. Holy crap.
I'm hoping to be in Volume 3 too. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, both you could.
I have an Apple
honestly,
3, so I'll be into the Volume 3, I guess.
That's gonna be great. I want you guys in it. In fact, the main reason I'm even here is because like I found you guys through like collaborating on Vintage Apple Vault, and I have some guests lined up. Nothing 100% official yet, but it's gonna be the best volume yet. Volume 3 is gonna kick butt.
Cool.
Sounds awesome.
Before we
And it's going to be released tomorrow?
No.
before,
But I did just release a new Crazy Ken episode today. That one was full of twists. Go check that one out.
Oh, it was very twisty.
The dirtiest, rustiest Mac I've ever
and
purchased.
buggiest. You had bugs in it too.
Yep, literally, carcasses of bugs fell out of the computer.
But
it's going to be a long night for me then. I got Michael's video after the show, then I got your video after that, and I still have to put my kid in the bath. And
my video is not as good as his video. I can see some of his stuff right now on the YouTube channel. It's not as good. Mine's not as good.
Well, just let you guys know, I found out the reason why we weren't seeing all the videos. I had to actually expand my Skype window over here. And now all the videos are showing. It's stupid.
It's not a Mac
I
Jack without
can't like
technical
have the Skype window whatever size I want. I had to expand it out to show all the little bubbles on there.
Oh, so if it's not generating
Mike still
for you,
disappeared.
As you said that, we lost Mike.
Well, I think Mike.
I'm here.
I think he lost his video on his own. So that's.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You say, "Hey Jay, why don't you do the hosting so I can focus on all the technical stuff?" And then you didn't figure this out before we started?
Because we never tested anything more than 4 or 5, I think, at the time.
Sure.
Hey, it's working now.
So as someone who's not fully up to speed on everybody's content, Brent, do you appear in videos as well, or you just do the design and all the stuff on the back end?
I have appeared in videos in the past, though for the most part, I'm just there to bounce ideas off of. So a lot of my work is mainly in the background, mainly to do with the design.
Yeah,
Okay.
so one thing we were discussing earlier, I think it came up on my last Crazy Ken Live, was that we were going to actually take Brent out of our channel art. And I already ran this by him, and he said it's okay. I wanted to make sure it was okay. So we're probably going to take him out because it has been confusing some people. Like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And I always explain it, no problem. But, like, it just kind of doesn't make sense. Gosh, I feel
Because
like a
I'm
jerk
not
for
in the
saying-
foreground.
Right,
as
you're
much.
not in the foreground as much anymore. You still play an important role, but it's just kind of confusing, especially to the new viewers. But it's okay. He still plays an important role. And the next channel art, I think, is going to be really funny. We're going to have, like, Ken and the Crazy Ken character alter ego, like, electrocuting themselves or something. Like, it's going to be a much more action-packed like, artwork. Yeah.
Hey, I
just need
did
to-
think about something, guys. This is technically a partial VAV6 reunion.
It kind of is because Vintage Apple Vault episode 6 had Grudy in it and Steve and Brent.
Brent? Yeah.
I don't know where I'm pointing, but
I'm sure I was selected. Absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, it was.
here's the
good.
thing, though, is I got to talk about Ken here. Is he never really showed his face much on his channel before
Yeah.
he came on MacYak.
You know,
Yeah.
I would like to talk about that here because, like, it's kind of a special occasion and a lot of people have asked about it. So, as you may know, I kind of show my face sometimes depending on what video it was. But for Crazy Ken, I never did because I don't know if any of you guys ever watched, like, channels like Ashens or anything, but, like, you rarely see his face. You
Yeah.
usually only see his hands working on stuff. So I was like, I like that first person perspective, and I ran with that. Also, the second thing is, I really was not comfortable with my body back then. I lost like 40 pounds since I started working on Crazy Ken. So now
Are you using Stevie Richards Fitness?
I'm going to use the program to work on my upper body strength because I have like no muscle. But I lost weight just by not eating as much. It was pretty cool. But anyway, I'm much more comfortable on camera now, so I'm totally cool with being, on like for every episode. Plus, I think it's more fun. I mean, engagement's been going up. People have been loving it.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot better actually because you're not like Colin, where all you see is his hands.
Sure.
I
mean,
think we're the only
yeah.
channel he's ever shown his face on.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And that was only the one time because he's been back since, and all we saw was
All
nothing.
we saw was
Yeah.
the CM, for his initials floating around.
Right.
We were still doing group FaceTime, but
I still get a bunch of people that ask me like why my head is round, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's not that way.
What
It
kind
was
of
engineered
question is
that way. It's how it is.
Dude, okay, so in my Tidbites episode where I talked about like bits and stuff like that, yeah, I framed myself tighter, so optically my head will look bigger. I'm not gonna do that again. But one person, this was a comment I received. This was probably my most favorite YouTube comment I've ever received. He said, "Okay, I have a question, and I don't want a smart ass answer. Why is your head so big?" And I'm like, how do you not want a smart ass answer? Oh my gosh, that was.
Why is the sky blue?
Yeah, right.
So
Like,
Londo
dude.
or Dana says Computer Clan electrocuting himself with a G5 power supply.
Uh,
You want to see that happen because it almost did in that episode, but
Yeah.
I had about 2 inches of distance. It was
But I think it was a lot of us in this channel that actually helped you figure out what the problem was.
You did, yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, so for those who don't know the story, I have a whole Crazy Ken episode about it, so go check it out. But someone donated a Power Mac G5 and a cinema display, so I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I unbox it and stuff, and I, set it up on camera, and I go to plug it in, and it goes pop, and I'm like, what happened? Something blew on the inside, and I messaged. I think it was Jay that actually told me, like, Ken, that model number means you have a liquid cooled one, and I'm like, I have a liquid cooled.
What?
So I open it up. I look closer. The pumps leaked into the power supply. It was all full of Dexcool.
and I had to explain to you what Dexcool was
Yep, it
and
was
how
like,
it was
oh,
conductive and yeah.
And how it's in cars and conductive and it blows shit up. So I was like, yep, yeah. That was fun. That was a very fun one. Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, I will follow up on it. I know everyone's been asking, when am I going to follow up? There will be a follow up. It'll probably be a live episode as well.
I
so.
also want to follow up with you with the one you blew up. So
Oh, that could happen too.
yeah,
I think it's actually that one back there. It's actually That's the one that exploded. It looks fine on the outside.
Yeah, it's still pretty.
Wow.
Well, like I said, if you look
Yeah,
at
I'm
the
still
one,
waiting for you to send me that thing to
if
fix
you
it.
look at the one behind me there, that's my G5, but it's air cooled, not liquid cooled.
Yeah, good old air. I love air.
Yeah, I'm going to be converting my 2.7 to air. I've got all the parts coming in the mail right now. So that should be
Michael,
fun.
you can still change your mind if you can still go with a G5 Final Cut Pro version 4 or something.
Yeah.
Forget about Hackintosh, man.
Tell me what my options are.
That's about it.
That's about it, or I got to pay $2,000 plus for 4 USB ports on an iMac.
Well, if you put it that way, yeah, doesn't sound too
Or
appealing.
$50,000 if you want to go with the new Mac Pro. Take your pick.
Yeah.
I don't need to
The new
stand. I
Mac
can
Pro
just.
starts at $6,000, 5 or 6. It's not that bad.
Oh,
I just wonder when that's going to backfire on them. When that's all going to backfire on them.
I expected that 4
won't.
years ago.
It's not gonna. That's the thing.
It's
Well, the worst thing about the new Pro is the T2 chip in it.
yeah.
Which, because of Michael, we're assuming the worst about that chip. He got me all paranoid about that thing ever since he came on the show. But it hasn't been proven yet to mess with us in any way. Yet.
Interesting.
Well,
So
Yeah.
maybe it never will.
well, what other system has the T2 besides the MacBook Pro, the new MacBook Pros? The Mac Mini does, right? The new Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Everything but the iMac.
Yeah.
Does the iPad
No.
have iPad?
No,
has
they
it.
don't have
Even the
T2 chips.
even the
but
iMac Pro has
Well,
it.
I don't think they have T2 chips because they have ARM based chips, so they're different.
The T2 is an ARM-based
Yeah, I know,
chip.
but
Let's talk about the iPad.
but what I'm saying though is that the main processor in an iPad is an ARM-based processor.
Yeah.
Not Intel.
Yeah.
well, on the iOS stuff, they're doing that whole thing with the software warning anybody that got their batteries replaced that it's not the proper battery. So they're going a little bit of a soft shoe approach to get that people scared of going outside of Apple. They just said today that they lose money on repairs. Did you see that story?
Which is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, every corporation loves to lose money.
Yeah, there's no way. You charge $1,200 for spilling a drop of liquid on your Mac to have it fixed. You make money. You make mad amounts of money.
hell
to
yeah.
have repaired.
Because you know what they're doing with that
So-
board? They're taking it back. They're going to probably do like what Louis Rossmann does, fix it, and they're going to refurb it and they're going to sell it.
They're just yeah.
You name Louis
well, maybe.
Rossmann and you completely discredit the fact that that's what Jay does.
Well, I don't have a fancy microscope set. Well, I do now, but I don't stream it, so I'm not very known for it. But yeah, I hear you. But if it wasn't for the T2 chip, Michael, would you get a new Mac Pro?
No, I don't. Everything that I was able to do and continue to be able to do with this iPad Pro is such a stopgap to not make me make a rash decision on that. I'm not blowing smoke on this. Look at the playlist I put up on my YouTube channel to see everything that I'm using and the pro level apps. I mean, you got to go around. It's not a standard operating system, but video editing, photo editing, podcasting, and having a full Safari web browser. For instance, I mean, I don't work for LumaFusion either, by the way. Or if they pay better than Blackmagic, I will. But what I was able to do was take the stuff, import the Nikon footage into LumaFusion, or at least keep it on the iPad, put it in files. And then I was like, oh, I want to put some music in the background of this moon footage. Before iPad OS, that would be a nightmare. Now I literally can download it just like it's a full Safari web browser. I went to Epidemic Sound. I downloaded it. It was in my Files app. I dragged and dropped it in the LumaFusion through a split screen, and it was right there in my timeline to be used.
Nice.
That's nuts.
So,
but for all the stuff you do with the iPad, and I saw that little overlay that you're a cat lover or something. You were demonstrating it in your last video.
yeah,
For all
that's
the stuff you can do with the iPad, why even go with a Hackintosh or another Mac for that matter? Why not just go all in on iPad?
I've considered it. But because of stuff like this, I'm not sure if the audio interface would work with Skype, would work with StreamYard, because I do a lot of podcasting like this with other people. So I need a desktop. I've considered the Mac Mini even, but then once I said, not even with the T2 chip, Mac Mini, I got to do a RAM upgrade. I'm going to have to do a RAM upgrade, at least for photography, if not video editing as well. I'm going to need a monitor. That's a whole seventh level of hell of looking around. Like, what am I looking for? Am I looking to do? If I really want a true video editing suite, eGPU, but I'm not getting 100% of the bandwidth. Now we're back in the iMac territory but now I have a soldered on GPU. So it's kind of like you're either going to hemorrhage money this way or that way. Yeah. I've even considered cracking open the iMac I have here and upgrading both drives to have an SSD in it. But the I/O is starting to flake out on me too, and maybe even the power supply. So I'm scared that if I open it up and vacuum it out, because it's just like I'm just scared, that it might be either a normal thing or it's slowly starting to get to true end of life. But I locked in my trade-in values. So nobody can say anything at Sell Your Mac.
3 months.
Locked in.
That's all you get, I think. Or 1 month. I don't know.
But you understand what I mean. That's all. Apple and every other company with technology is so intelligent with making people go down this rabbit hole. It's kind of like the storage thing. Hey, it's only in there a couple hundred to double it. Oh, then it's in there a couple hundred to double it after that. And you're like, oh, I just spent like $700 that I didn't count on. And here I am, and now I got to get a monitor.
So, right. And do you think, because iPad OS is still, it's what, 4 months old?
September was the official release.
Yeah. So it's still very new. Do you think? Well, you already got the parts for your tower built, but if you just sit back and wait 4 more months, do you think there's going to be the software for iPad OS that meets all your needs?
I think it will in certain. I would just have to have people on Switcher Studio, which also has a video chat feature like this one, where I could host many people. My whole thing is that like Cooler Master ended up wanting to cooperate with me and collaborate on a Macintosh build. So that's how I got the Cooler Master stuff with the case, the water cooler, and the keyboard and mouse. But I've considered doing a Ryzen PC because it's going to be a fraction of the cost of the Intel one. And it seems like people are doing more Ryzen Hackintoshes right now, since they're eventually going to go to AMD or ARM or another chip anyway. So I'm sort of like in that in-between thing. If I can build something that can work really well and even game for well under $1,000 and give me about 3 or 4 years, I can get some use out of it possibly. And maybe make that my streaming machine and all this other stuff. And then if I have to, I'll stick with this. It's a weird way to go, but rather than being locked into a $2,500 thing for a quad-core 6-core i5, now I can have an 8-core 16-thread processor for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, Apple
drives you
has
fucking
been lagging
insane, is what
behind
it
on
does.
hardware for a long time. If Hackintosh was easy, yes, I'm gonna say it, I might consider it too. If I wasn't going to be worried that every OS update would break my machine and all that.
Did it? Whoa! Wait! Did I just hear Jay say he might go to? Dare I say it? PC.
I don't hate Ryzen. I don't hate Intel. I hate Windows.
Okay.
So if I can have the kick-ass hardware with Mac OS, then I'll be happy.
I'm picturing Steve Jobs on stage with the hell froze over text. I'm happy to report that this has happened.
Yeah. Someday, maybe.
Well, yeah. I'm sitting there like shocked because I thought I'd never, ever hear Jay say, I might go to PC hardware.
It's not a stretch. I mean, I can build probably the stuff that Michael is sitting in his box over there blows my Mac Pro out of the water in hardware performance, but it's the operating system that always has me going back to Mac.
I really like Mac OS.
Yeah.
That's the same with me. I think you're legitimately, even though Mac OS is free, we're paying an extra grand every time we buy a computer.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You
Well, I
don't
haven't
think
bought one in
Apple's
6
not
years,
making their
but
money
yeah.
back?
Mhm.
It's like, my kid doesn't need new shoes. MacBook Pro.
He doesn't need to go
Well,
to college.
Yeah.
And considering this, my day job is to be a tech. I work on Windows all day long. I set up the servers. I deal with Windows 10. I deal with all the way back to
You must
XP.
have an altar this big.
So I, despite the fact that I deal with it all day long, when I come home, my preferred operating system is still Apple. I am not happy with modern Apple hardware. I'm not happy with a lot of modern Apple practices, but I still prefer Mac OS over any of the Windows offerings that have come out ever. Hands down, period.
And that kind of segues me into one question I have for Michael right now, but after that for everybody. Have you ever considered Linux?
Yes,
What?
I have. Well, DaVinci Resolve is on Linux as well, so it was something that I considered, but that's a whole nother confusing thing. Like, I have to relearn Windows, but it seems like Linux has so many iterations of the actual operating system, and then the way it works is more efficient with the package content, the way it installs apps. And
I love the
updates.
way software is distributed. Absolutely.
I may have to try it. It's something. Hey, that could be a Linux machine, a dual boot, PC gaming, and then Linux for productivity.
Right.
It's not saying it's impossible. It's just saying that, God damn you, Apple. That's pretty much what it says.
Well,
So,
at the
Brent,
end of
are
the
you
day,
a Linux guy?
Brent?
Which one are
Go
you?
ahead, Rocky.
Go ahead, Rocky.
No, it's
No,
fine.
no.
Frank can go. I was just going to say Apple, Mac OS is BSD based, which is a sister to Linux. So they're not too far apart.
Interesting.
But,
That is true, yeah, because it was based on, what is it, BSD, you said?
yep. And both Linux root from Unix, which,
Oh, man, as soon as we said Linux, the chat went nuts, because I know there's a few people also on Discord that are all like, Linux power.
Don't
I'm
give
surprised
Linux
Nick
any
isn't
ideas
here.
to charge an extra grand for anything, please.
Let's see.
All right, so I'm going to take over for just a second here, Jay, since you said you got to go check on the kid, right?
Yes, I
right.
keep hearing stuff break and crying, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
check that
Oh,
out. I'll be
no.
right back.
And I gotta get to the gym at 3 a.m., which is right outside here, by the way. So I'm gonna have to split too. But I'd like to come back on. Thank you guys. You
Yeah.
confused
have
me
you,
even
man.
further. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad you could join us again,
All right.
Michael.
I gotta go look at some
presents to
Linux
have.
videos now. So I'll
We'll see you later.
see you guys.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Happy
See you around, man.
anniversary to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
and now it went.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very silent.
Well,
So
Don't
I
talk
believe,
to
Run
GT.
away.
all right, so I wanted to go over, and since this is our anniversary episode, I did get some screenshots of a few of our episodes, our past episodes. One of the
I can only imagine.
no, I don't have that video up here, so but Christian can explain that one if he wants to. But anyways,
Which one?
the oh shit, Steve, you're muted, I think.
Yeah, Steve, you've been muted for a while now.
Really?
Yeah,
You can't hear
Yeah,
now we
yeah,
can.
we can hear you now.
I saw you going. I was like, Steve, you're not talking. You're miming. All right, so
That's one way to shut up.
when we first started, we had a slightly different logo, and I don't know if you guys remember this logo right there.
I hated it from day one.
This is one that, and since Jay's
Oh,
gone
yeah.
right now, we'll blame him because he actually did come up with this logo. And
I'm still
Wendy-
listening, funny man.
Wendy hated it
well,
too.
that's the thing I was going to
Wendy
say.
really hated
His
it.
wife is a graphics designer. She absolutely hated it. I think we only went maybe 4 episodes with that
4 episodes.
with that
Yep,
logo.
4 episodes.
Dude, apart from myself on camera, that's the cutest thing I've seen on the internet. That thing is come on.
I had some special time with this little guy last night when I was pixelating him for the introduction part of this podcast. So
Which, Steve,
I think he's pretty
that
neat.
is an awesome intro, and that's going to be our new.
That intro was.
That is
really
going to be our new intro
Thank you.
for a while.
Tons of people in the chat were just like, "Oh, I love it! I love how it's evolving." Yeah,
Yep.
I'm glad because I exported that about, let's say, 35 minutes before the show. And 5 minutes after I exported that, my power went out. So I'm glad I
Oh my
uploaded that
God.
somewhere before that happened.
So, anyways, but that is our old logo, and now we went to a newer logo, as you see today. Wendy actually designed the new logo for us because she just detested that one. So she actually designed our new logo.
You only had to deal with this for like 2 hours a week. I had to hear it every day how much you hated that thing.
So
That's great.
back then we didn't have a actual like loading screen that would actually load, or it was animated per se. So this was actually our static loading screen, so we were just starting off, and we had basically where it said stream will be starting shortly. Nothing and music would be playing in the background. But
When you had a crowd like talking in the background for like the first episode, it was really strange and annoying.
did I?
Yeah, it was like an audience talking or
that's
something like
because
that.
we were having audio issues our very first episode and had to figure that out.
I may have been partially guilty for that idea.
That explains a lot, Jay.
And I was not part of these.
I would insert some curse words that I can't do on the show, but I will later.
So, but since we're talking about our very first episode, the very first episode was actually launched on my Mac channel, the Mac Attack, and the very first one we had tons of technical difficulty. I think it took us 30, 40 minutes before we finally figured out what was going on, because group FaceTime wanted to actually hijack all the audio, so we couldn't play any other audio that we wanted to do in there. We were using Wirecast. We were still learning how to use Wirecast. A whole lot of different things there, but we had some technical problems, and we kind of, as I kept going and doing this, I learned how to get rid of those technical problems. I think Steve had a couple of little small technical problems when he did this fill-in last week or the week before, where you had the screen, their windows would go big and small, big and small.
Yeah. You forgot to tell me about that.
It's called the transform. You have to edit the transform and constrain it to a box. That way it doesn't jump outside.
We worked around that by putting a little sad Mac face over Greg's head for a while, so that was all right.
Yeah, that was funny. Let's see. Then we went to, after that loading screen, we went to hold on. Let me pull that.
Was that the first video that you created? What?
No, this is one that Jay created. He created the loading bar
Oh, no, but you created your other one first before that
I had one too, but it's still on the channel as a video you could go watch.
6 friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 5 at first. It
remember
was
that
5
one.
at first, but then Steve joined us at the time, so then I had to change it to 6.
Yeah.
I remember,
Yeah, he messed everything
ending
up.
my face into that like 20 minutes before the stream went live.
Yep.
And Greg's like, all right, we got to hurry up. It sends a trend here,
Well, that was the thing, though, is that Steve joined us on episode 5, and we couldn't get rid of him, man. He just he
7.
like a boomerang.
Exactly.
Episode 7.
Was it episode 7 he came on? I thought it was 5.
Mana was
Oh, okay.
5.
See, I'm getting old, man. I'm losing track of what episodes we did what. But Jay came up with this new idea of making an animated loading screen. But now
Hey, Steve.
Steve has the better one, so now this one's going to be getting replaced with Steve's new one.
By the way,
I'm
Steve,
sorry, I
your
do not
audio keeps
recall a
cutting
vote.
out. What?
Oh, well, we can vote on it right now if you want to. Steve, I think you're
No,
muted
no,
again.
no.
I vote Steve.
What is Steve saying? I can't
He
hear
was
him.
muted again for some reason. He's still.
He's still muted. You're just going.
Skype is
Okay,
garbage.
there we go.
Steve likes the mute.
He's like he's like Ken's latest live, where it's like.
Oh. You weaponized my technical failure. How? Hey, I got my Ethernet conversion technology now, so hopefully I have a more reliable connection.
Well,
There you go.
as long as you don't learn from Grudy. Grudy does everything Wi-Fi, so you know.
I mean, honestly, I do too. Seriously, I do
Dude,
it.
I'm plugged into 2 Ethernet jacks right now.
Yeah, he
2 of them.
But where?
Oh yeah, that's gonna. help.
But here's the question: out where your studio is, do you have Ethernet?
Not yet.
Ah, see.
You don't see me live streaming over there, do you?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. We can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Can you hear my
Yes.
MacBook fans?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'll mute myself until I want to say something.
No,
Don't forget.
just don't forget you're muted.
At least your
Yes.
MacBook does have fans, unlike some of the new ones.
Oh.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's see.
Low blow, man.
So, the very first time we actually used Skype was when Apple had their famous group FaceTime bug,
Oh yeah.
where they
Oh,
Oh, right, the blackout. I forgot about
they
that
shut
one.
down
Yeah.
the servers because some kid found out that he could actually basically hijack somebody else's video and audio and listening to them. You know, it was like a big time security breach. So Apple decided for, I think it was 2 weeks that it was off. I mean, we had to go 2 shows, I think, with Skype. And it was the first time we actually tried it, and we could only get the 4 up there. And this is before NDI and all the other stuff. So basically, I was just screen capturing the actual Skype window. Okay, and that's
yeah, that's when I had my shelves organized. Look at that.
but
But
What-
everybody.
what
When you were
was
talking
that?
about some hacker that did that, Brent started smirking. So did you have anything to do with this, Brent?
Oh god.
FaceTime outage.
No
it was
comment.
just a
Enough
fun
said.
time to reminisce.
Brent, don't say anything.
No, I just remember I remember reading an article and I thought
we
I think the
agree.
procedure to actually do it was stupidly simple.
It was very simple.
It was ridiculous.
yep.
Yeah.
I think you called
Nah,
one
we
person
we don't
and
know
then
what Christian does with his spare time and his code.
Ooh, yeah, we don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all those 68K Macs DDoSing a network.
you're gonna need a lot of
You
those.
only need a few
that.
million of them.
Hey, that's what collections are for.
Yeah, it's true.
Underestimate the power of 68K Mac.
Yeah, you just need a bunch of SCSI to Ethernet adapters and you're good.
And again, just to show everybody, this is Colin Mister's face, since that's probably we're probably the
Is he cool? Is he cool with you showing that
he
still?
has to be he
Sure.
it's our copyright.
Okay.
He doesn't really have much to say about it.
He's helped me a lot on my show too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The rights to his face have been sold to Magic.
that's right.
Don't make me put him in the intro now.
So yeah, I just thought,
Oh, make him an extension. That would be awesome.
oh, there you go. So I
I have extensions for all of us. I just didn't have time to put.
I
it
just
in,
wanted to
so.
go over some of
No,
the
if you do Colin, it's got to be hands. It's got to be hands for Colin.
yeah. I just thought I'd go over some of the highlights that I picked out. Just I was actually going through some of our videos, just watching some of them, and of course, you know, we had Ken in there. I think we got a pretty good spike in subs too when Ken came on. So thank you for that, Ken.
You're welcome. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, that's what collaboration is.
Exactly.
One of the benefits
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
And Steve, your channel went over 1,000 subs, so that was a good thing.
Yes, I ate 1,000 subs. Wait, what? No.
Dude,
Impressive.
when people talk about food on streams, like I really get hungry. Like Friday when we were talking about pizza, seriously, the next day I went out and ordered like a take and bake pizza, and I just cooked it in my oven. It was the first time I used my oven in my condo, like 6 months later. Like, oh my gosh. It was
No. Yeah, so I was surprised because I started the channel just a bit over 2 years ago, and I didn't really, have much on there, and it was very slow to do videos and stuff. But after I met you guys via playing UT and later via MacYak, it was cool to see that some of you have your own channels too. So it's sort of like, all right, I gotta get my game going again, and somehow it made it over 1,000. So we'll see how that progresses.
That's pretty much how I started. I was like, I somehow made it over 1,000. All right, we'll see how this progresses.
Yeah.
I really had no thought. Yeah.
I remember the thank you for 1,000 video I did was me introducing my clamshell Indigo iBook with the XGA screen in it. Ooh. I did a huge joke intro and stuff. Good
Is that
times.
the one you gave away later?
No, that was another Indigo. I had two.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was probably 2017. That's going back a little while now.
Time flies. And I feel bad because we've been playing UT and, hanging out on FaceTime and all that stuff. And I never knew that Steve had a channel. I had no idea. And then he dropped a video. I forgot which video it was. May have been the original iMac or something where I learned that it had a fan. I had no idea about that either.
I had watched a few of his videos before I really realized who Steve was.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't put two and two together.
We started doing MacYak, and these guys started blabbing about this guy that did vintage stuff. And then I learned of Ken's existence because I had no idea. I don't really browse YouTube all that much. So I've met a lot of new people and discovered a lot of new channels ever since we started doing this.
Same
pretty awesome.
It was funny because I saw because I found you guys through the Power PC Lounge, and when I saw you guys, I just got a G5 and I set it up just to play because it was Power PC only then. You had to have a Power PC Mac to join. And I set my username as like Mac84 or Mac84 TV or something like that. Yeah. And I remember when I think it was probably the 7th or 8th episode or something like that. Afterwards, we're like, somebody said something along the lines of, "Oh, Steve has a channel," and one of you guys had a smart ass response like, "Yeah, don't you know his damn UT name? That's it's the same channel."
Oh, I think I said that.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than West Virginia Killer something, whatever.
Crazy Killer West Virginia.
Yeah. I like my name a lot better.
Son of a bitch.
I've been using the Crazy with a K since 2005.
Oh, you beat me to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, I think the agreement was that if you could kill me in Unreal Tournament, I wouldn't be on the show. But since in those early days, my moves are a little better.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah,
You have never defeated me, sir. Never.
Yes, he has.
Never.
No, take that back.
I have
He
screenshots. Yes, exactly.
In a single match, but over the course of the
No.
night.
Don't play like that, sir.
All right. We know what we're doing after the show. We're going to settle this.
Don't you have to settle a score with Rocky first?
Oh, he never showed up. He chickened out a long time ago.
Yeah. Leave it.
So I'm going to throw it back over to Jay now. He's the host, so apparently he's got the kid down.
Why? I'm just leaning back enjoying this for a minute. Come on. Are you already done with all your screenshots?
Well,
yeah, that's all I had.
We missed one question. You were asking Brent about Linux, and we sort of dissolved that.
True.
Brent,
Oh, yes. I asked if you are a Linux guy, a Windows guy, or a Mac guy.
Yes.
So, I mean, I use everything. I don't stick with one OS. I have a couple computers here that are mainly running Windows. My main system, what I'm calling from right now, is running Windows, but I've got an early 09 Mac Pro just underneath my desk right now. Mm-hmm. And Sunflower, G4 iMac as well as an early
thank
09
God. I was
iMac.
just starting to wonder, why did we invite this?
I was going to say, what, you didn't ban him already?
No, I grew up on Windows, so I'm most familiar with how it functions, how it works, all the
I
keyboard
did too.
shortcuts, the
Yeah.
software library. I'm just most familiar with. That's
Right.
mainly why I stick with it. It's just because it's what I've grown up with. It's what I've known.
wrong with
It's
that.
also what
I grew up with
trained
Windows
in.
too, but then I
have
got
a
smart.
Nokia A+ and Network Plus certification, so
Yep.
it's what I'm most familiar with. It's what it's probably going to get me a job as well.
Yeah.
But I do love the Mac OS platform.
Nice
I
save.
do think it. I do think it. I love its animations. I love the way it handles software. Everything's just like a .app.
Yeah, that is. I'm
as
glad
well.
you bring that up. That is like one of my favorite things about the Mac OS is that all the apps are just in a freaking app folder and they're just all a little package. Like hardly anything else does that. You want to know where your apps are? Boom, there they are. Everything else, it's like bin user or like program files x86. I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh my
if you
gosh,
want to
dude.
if you want to
Yeah.
uninstall something, you just delete the app out of the app folder, and boom, it's gone.
That's it. That's it.
Usually.
Usually, yeah.
Unless it's
But
a
yes,
Microsoft product, then you have to go and do all these other little.
That too.
Unless your app was installed from
It
a
comes with an
.pkg package, then
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
your
when it
sheets, you got
integrates
your
into the
application
OS.
support. Yep.
yeah.
Like
So,
trying
Brent,
to
do you
remove
have
video
Open?
web drivers. Huh? Sorry.
No, sorry, go on.
I was about to say the only gripe I have with Mac OS that I love about Windows, per application volume sliders.
Ah, yeah.
That is the only thing that I like about Windows that I have not seen in Mac OS.
I got
yet.
that on the Mac.
Well,
What do you
third
use for that?
It's a third-party app, but it's there.
I get it built into the system.
True.
So you're
Well,
willing
do you
to
have
deal with a whole lot of garbage just to have those sliders, while you could be dealing with a whole bunch of awesome and those sliders.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have a preferred Linux
Straight up.
distribution there, Brent? Or any suggestions for anybody who wants to try that out?
Honestly, I just stick with Ubuntu.
I do too.
It's pretty.
Really? I'm
It's
surprised.
because it's so
Yeah.
easy to install nowadays. I mean,
It's very easy to install.
Yeah, it's very compatible as well.
Yeah.
It's just been a nice. Honestly, I liked Unity. I thought it was a cute looking design bar on the side.
Oh yeah, the bar.
But I tend to be pretty adaptable. It's like if you throw me in front of something, I'll be like, okay, how do you want to do things, and I'll decide if it works for me or not. And for the most part, I can figure things out pretty easily.
So you work computers like people play Frogger. Just throw me in front of it until something hits me.
Yep. And then I'll go online and research it, or I'll just go, okay, now I gotta. I absolutely, when it comes to Linux, I do love software packages and the way the system updates, especially compared to Windows. Because with Windows, you get a piece of software that lies to you about what it's actually doing in the background. Then you get to
100% agree.
start, and then it has to do more shit. And then when it comes back, it has to do more shit. With Linux, you just run a single command. It runs in the background. And then when it's done, it says, hey, can you just restart the system? No additional time. It's just another system restart. That's it.
Yeah, the only thing I struggle with Linux, and it's not the operating system. It is maybe it's just a small majority of the group, but I find whenever I'm trying to Google search something about how to do something with Ubuntu or whatever, I go into these message boards that are like,
Stack Overflow. It's going to be your friend.
Yeah, these people know everything, but they're going to give you like the tiniest little grain of rice and being like, "Well, do that." And it's like, wait, but how? I don't know what that command does. Well, then you need to read this PDF. And it's like, wait, whoa. And like 20 hours go by, and I'm like,
dude, that's like GitHub.
That is
GitHub. You go somewhere for information, you end up on GitHub, and there's these brainiacs there that, you want to do that? Run fluidafla. And what
that is
fluidafla?
the one thing. As soon as something breaks in there, even application updates, it does happen every now and again. You'll be running through Googling, run this command. Okay, now run this command.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought that up. because like on my like Tidbites videos, most people understand my teaching style and they're like, "Wow, this is great." But then I do get those people that are just like, "Why are you like explaining so much and going around the point?" And I'm just like, because most people don't learn that way, and life isn't just black and white answers. Do that, do that, do that. Like it's about the why. It's about you need to know this other thing. You need to know this other thing to do this other thing. It's not just like
what frustrates me so much.
Totally get
it. That's why I made a 40-minute video on how to clean a mouse. You need to know everything.
That's exactly why. I did an hour and a half video on a Pixeless mod, so hey.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as you keep it interesting, as long as you can get into detail, this is why we're gonna do all this for a half hour.
You know, Brent, I agree. So my next Crazy Ken Live is gonna be a 5-hour unboxing of my Gigabit Ethernet adapter.
And you know what? People
I expect to see a full teardown and analysis down to the pin.
Yeah, we should do an iFixit teardown of the adapter, and we should go into like a complete 5-part series on the history.
And then he never gets it back together, and he's like,
shit. And then it's like.
He'll plug it in anyway just to see if it works. It'll just be like this little skeleton of a thing.
He's gonna let out the magic.
By the way, I purchased some conversion technology today.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm not proud of it, but I I finally had to find a way to charge my phone while I'm using headphones, so I had to get a dongle.
You're fancy.
I have to admit to everybody, because they all heard me being a major advocate for the 6S and how I hate the no headphone jack, no real button phones, but I have moved up into the 7 and 8 series.
All right.
I hate it, but it's fine.
You guys are all talking about your fancy conversion technologies.
Oh, no.
This is where it's at, buddy.
Oh, okay. Oh,
let's see what Brent's getting. Come on.
Actually, Brent, aren't you working on
it? 600K a second.
Yay!
He has one.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone get up that quick. That was impressive.
I was gonna say he's like, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but he showed me a rough cut of a video that involves that. That was probably a spoiler though.
No, I will disclose here. I am working on a video that involves a Dell computer running Windows 2000 and an Apple LaserWriter 4600 PostScript.
Look at Steve. He just got a stiffy.
I apologize in advance if I should know the answer to this, but Brent, do you have your own YouTube channel?
I do. Penrose Films. It's incredibly inactive, and I mainly just post live shows excerpts there now. But
all right.
Hey, you got the
I actually enjoy the channel.
But it is there. I'm trying to come back to it with this video in particular, and hopefully go from there.
It can't be as inactive as my channel has been lately, so.
Or Rocky's channel.
My channel, there you go. Mine takes a nice second.
If you need any scans of the manual, Brent, I have it. So.
I mean, Christian. I don't even think Christian has a channel. Right?
Nice, yeah.
I don't.
What? No, I don't. Well, I do have a channel.
He does on Twitch.
1 or 2 videos.
Yeah, I do have a Twitch. I do have a Twitch channel. I do more on Twitch than I do on YouTube. So.
Yeah. I saw you racing yesterday or today. I don't know.
Probably.
It's like as soon as you set up your desk, you installed that steering wheel and you started racing again.
I will be streaming more on Twitch, by the way. I just haven't started that back up yet. My new graphics card is very nice.
No, my internet now.
Yeah, you only got 3 screens.
Oh,
now,
by the way, Ken, we've been going an hour.
I can run
and
6 though if I really wanted to.
Hour and a half, and I have 0 drop frames.
Oh, now you jinxed it.
Nope.
Let me tell you something.
He's like, I'm cursing you right now.
You got like 900 up, and I got like
I know,
10.
I'm messing
and
with
on
you.
the day I probably had. No, that was bad. I know. Hopefully,
well, I think it's because you were trying to download the patcher. And
yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing that surprised me. On the first Crazy Ken Live, I downloaded the patcher and the installer, and we didn't drop any frames. But I noticed we were dropping a few before I even downloaded it, so I thought there was already something else going on. And then you're right. When I did that, that was just the nail in the coffin. The download finished, I reset the modem in the router, and then we didn't drop any.
Ah.
But Yes, thank you for reminding.
That wasn't your fault.
That's what we're here for.
Well, we could bring the oh shit video up, but let's talk about that one, Rocky.
Hey, go for it. You're in the one.
Yeah,
Come
let's
on,
talk
it's the
about that one,
anniversary.
Rocky.
Let's do it. Come on.
I'm okay
You're
with
gonna do it eventually.
Yeah, do it.
I don't have it queued up, but anyways, if you guys,
I got it for you if you need it.
It's in the Discord channel somewhere because it's been there forever.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
No,
leave it
because
there.
he keeps deleting it.
But anyways, if you're
I won't delete it.
if you're a fan
for
of this
today.
channel, Christian was on our show one day, and he said he was chatting in the chat over there, and he said something about what was it? I forget what he's.
What was the F you said?
Yeah,
After I accidentally mistyped
instead of
his
saying
name.
fog,
Oh yeah.
he said FAG. Oh, there it is. It's in the chat.
I put an A instead of an O.
Yeah, we can't say the actual words because YouTube will ban us.
Yeah,
or
that's why I
something.
won't say it.
They're a little touchy,
Yeah, a little touchy feely, but
but yeah.
did he realize what he said?
Make sure that everybody watching this joins our Discord. I will post it tonight, and for one night only, it will stay up without Rocky deleting it, so you can see what it's about.
It's one of my favorite memes from the whole
Dude, it's awesome.
channel.
Speaking of which, we do have a meme channel, so if you actually take screenshots of us while we're doing the show and meme us,
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for all the ones on my butt, by the way.
It's always a guess. What underwear is Steve wearing today?
At least it's clean underwear,
it's on
right?
Discord.
Damn right
But,
it is.
Speaking of funny moments, what are and this is going to be a little harder for our guests, but what are some of our favorite topics or streams so far? Oh, I love you too, buddy. He did something very, very bad, and I'm going to find out about it in about half an hour. But let's start with you, GT.
Oh, wow.
Any favorites?
Any favorites?
It must be really bad. I'm going to see what this is about.
Right. Let's see. My favorite episode probably.
Jay's house is currently on fire.
Man, I don't really have a favorite episode. I like them all. I mean, this show has evolved, in the year that we've been on here, and I think some of my gaffes when I was learning how to use the broadcast software and stuff, was pretty funny and stuff, and the echoes we'd have or the audio problem. I mean, that was the biggest problem was the audio problem. So, but I think we finally got through those, and now we don't have those issues anymore. So,
Just wait till tomorrow.
Or
next episode,
Yeah, probably next episode it'll be like all screwed up, jacked up. But I think when we actually switched over to Skype, started becoming my favorite ones because group FaceTime was good, but it's not good for what we were doing here because everybody kept complaining about the moving pictures. It's like we were floating all over.
It was making them sick and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this format is a little bit better because only 4 people at a time. Even though I had a 1080p screen, 4 is all I could put on there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they would put, and that's an Apple, restriction. There's nothing I could do to change that. So we were stuck with that. So I think my favorite ones are once we started using Skype because it started looking a little bit better, more professional. So that's for my favorite. Yeah. So back.
All right.
Nice.
Who wants to go next?
Well, I could go.
All right.
My favorite episodes were probably episode 4 when what was it? Episode 4 when Colin refilled his face. I mean, I already knew what his face looked like, but most people didn't. So that was a really cool time, and it's the only time it's ever happened.
Well, it became a sport at some point. Like, what does this dude look like? I found one of his videos where I caught a reflection. Like, oh,
yeah, reflection. Yeah. And the first episode with Ken was a really good one. Because we basically had a VAV4 reunion, more or less, at the time, which was pretty fun. And what was the last one? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, going over every version of OS 10.
Yeah, that was actually good.
The whole episode, we went over every version and everything that was changed in OS 10 from each version. And we showed screenshots that I took that took me literally 2 days to get all together. I had to install each and every single one of them and take a screenshot, and then upgrade and take a screenshot, then upgrade and take a screenshot. It was a fun
Grudy,
time.
you have the most Macs that run OS X by far than any of us. So.
Yeah, and I did all the PowerPC OS 10 on a G4 Cube and all the Intel ones on a mid-2007 iMac. So.
Yeah, I feel a little copied here because when I did the round, said, "Hey, what's your favorite episode or your favorite topic?" I started off by saying every macOS version episode. That was epic, and then you all said the same thing. So now mine feels a little less special, but it was an awesome episode, and we were in the chat. You couldn't see this on the YouTube end. But we were in the group chat on iMessage, like, dude, hurry up, we're gonna run out of time, and we easily could have done a 4-hour episode.
Oh yeah,
we still went over. We went over a pretty good amount.
I think that was our longest episode. I think we were like 2.5 hours, close to it.
Yeah, just talking about OS 10.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, we. And Christian was there too, I think, right?
Was he?
Wasn't he?
I don't remember.
Or it was Mike or Steve or Christian or all of the above. You guys just kept going on about System 7,
and Mike
8.
were arguing. Yeah, we were arguing over the classic OSs and then the challenges and the differences between Panther and Tiger and removing Apple Talk and there's all this stuff.
Well, it's like a trip down memory lane, you know. It's like
the nostalgia.
Yep.
When you get Steve and I talking about old stuff, it never stops.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I thought you were going to stay over the night, Mike, when you came over to look at all the computers I had.
Speaking of which,
try explaining that to your wife.
I don't think your rabbits and your wife would have appreciated it.
But speaking of which, I live closer to Mike and Steve now than anybody.
Well,
I gotta lock my door.
Yep, lock the doors.
GT shall be visiting you guys. Just, he's pre-warning you now, apparently.
Uh-oh. I'm glad I'm in Ohio.
Yeah, you're at least a 9 or 10 hour drive, so you're like.
Oh, so I don't have to worry about you. Cool.
I'd have to fly to you probably.
Nah, just don't. What about you, Steve? Any favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of a lot of the fun times we've had in the show. I think one of my favorites was the first time I was here because we were doing the group FaceTime then, and the thing I didn't really like about group FaceTime is the only device that I had that could run group FaceTime was my iPhone. So I had to have this thing. You guys probably remember it was on a tripod.
Oh, your setup,
with one of those. Yeah, so it was on a tripod with one of those wireless chargers duct taped to the wireless charger on the edge. But I couldn't duct tape the screen because I had to see everybody. And then I had my wired headset plugged into the headphones, and that was before I got my Bluetooth headphones. No, I had them at the time. I didn't know where they were. They were somewhere in the house. And so I was like wired, like the camera, the phone fell off the tripod once or twice.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Like,
that was funny.
And you ran that setup for a while too.
I would text you guys a photo of whatever my cockamamie setup was. I had an old SnapScan Fuji scanner that was broken, but it had almost like a easel type shape to the back of the tray where you put the paper in. So I had like the wireless charger there. I had like DB15 to VGA adapter shoved under the iPhone to pop it up next to the magnetic point. Yes, I was using conversion technologies there. But
once we moved to Skype, that was much easier because I used to, use that weird setup. But my other favorite.
I don't remember the exact setup. Sorry to interrupt you, but I always remember after the show, you took your phone off and it was like this big sticky Velcro sound when you pulled it all apart.
And it would get hot because the thing is, we'd talk for 2 hours. And I'd be like, "Oh, my phone's at 80%. I don't know if I'm going to last the entire show." And but yeah. And the other thing, I met you guys through playing Unreal Tournament with you all. So whenever we do a live stream and we play UT or after the fact, sometimes we do it on Sundays or whatever. I just have a blast because it's been ages since I played that game with anybody else other than strangers online and just bots and stuff like that. So. It's a lot of fun just to play that and kill each other and scream at each other. Yeah, it's a lot.
We
of
cuss.
fun.
We cuss.
There's a lot of
screaming.
screaming involved.
We cuss each other out like you're our mortal enemies on UT, but then we're right back. Oh yeah, we're friends again.
One of my favorite comments was from Dana in the chat, and so Dana was joining us, and Jay's after me, and I'm like throwing every word I got at him. And Dana goes, "Wow, you never would have thought it, Steve, this mild-mannered archivist on MacYak. All of a sudden, let it go on Unreal Tournament."
Yeah, dude, you put sailors to shame. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Hey, I have to battle against you. You're slinging it as fast as I can sling it back. So.
Yeah, and we live streamed it once, and we got some feedback from viewers that it was.
And I used to
a little spicy on the verbiage.
Yeah, I actually used to put it on Twitch. A bunch of times, but then I stopped doing it because I had to do it on a separate computer to do it. So it was a pain to do.
We just got to mute our audio while we're doing it. You'll just see like expressive faces. Like,
yeah, but the chat is like 90% of the fun.
Yeah.
Like you can shoot a bot, but you can't make a bot cry, or curse, or stuff like that.
We have to try and get a bigger game going. Maybe some of our guests could join us. You guys have some hardware that could run some more games.
Yeah. Didn't Ken make a claim once that he played UT, or was there someone else?
That must have been somebody else.
We gotta get you on there.
Yeah, there was one guest that.
What about you, Brent? You play UT?
I don't know what that
Unreal
is.
Tournament.
No.
Oh.
So the answer is yes.
Brent must be too young.
Oh.
What's up?
It's a fun first-person shooter, and it was like Unreal Tournament was like a big deal, and they
I know.
Unfortunately, it's Fortnite won out, and they're like, no, we're not going to make a new one. So.
Yep, and
I'm
you
just
can
excited
forget about
there's
playing it on Catalina.
I'm just excited. There's finally a new Half-Life game coming. Yes.
Is there?
Yeah.
I missed the
Half-Life.
announcement.
Yeah, it's like a VR thing.
Oh. VR.
Oh yeah, and I can't run it. I have no.
My exact reaction was like, "Oh, I'm not buying a $600 headset to play a game."
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I felt the same way. I have zero hardware. I have zero hardware to run it. Like it requires.
VR.
It requires like 6. It requires like 6 gigs of VRAM. It requires 12 gigs of main memory, and I'm like, I got. But it looks freaking cool. It looks so freaking cool.
Well, you can do VR with less. This was already 1 or 2 years ago. There's a guy on Low End Mac. His name is Mark, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. He has a 1,1, 2,1, I think, that he pimped out and runs VR gaming on.
Oh yeah,
I can do VR in mine.
Super ice cream sandwich.
Super what?
There you go.
Super ice cream sandwich is his channel.
I'm just trying to make us hungry again.
That sounds good.
Say, now I want ice cream.
Me too.
Yeah. I suddenly want an ice cream sandwich.
That was actually one of the first videos I ever had my channel featured in.
Oh, nice.
He also pronounced my name very, very wrong when he said it too.
Hell, I think I pronounced your name wrong when I first met you. I was like, how the hell do you say your name? Haruke or?
Yeah.
I didn't know until I watched your video.
Believe it or not, I learned this on my 18th birthday when I went to the casino to get, the card to become a casino member.
Well,
the guy that was giving me the card said, "Do you pronounce your name Rutke?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're one of the first people to ever actually say that right." And he's like, "Yeah, because in English grammatical order or whatever it is, if H comes before R, H is always silent. It's actually grammatically correct.
That's the
I
rule
never
I
knew
thought of.
that.
But as my bitch bot on when I do iRacing says, it's Groody.
Yeah.
Yep.
G. Rutke is Groody. Rocky, do you have any favorites?
There's a lot of episodes that I like. However, I have to say some of my personal favorites was when I was doing the little inserts of Mac Gaming, which I do plan to start back up now that I got a much better video card. And my time has started to free up again after the holidays, of course. But so I had a lot of fun with those. I enjoyed doing the printer one just because I kind of dipped into a knowledge realm that I'm a little more specialized than some of the rest of us on here. I also enjoy episodes where we dip into the 68Ks, the early Power PCs. That's more of the realm I grew up with.
Steve started drooling.
Oh, heck yeah. Steve and Mike, we love our 68Ks and Power PCs. So early Power PCs, they're great machines. So love that. But that's kind of more or less in the realm of what I've really, really enjoyed on this channel. Other than, of course, the camaraderie and the fact that we all have a lot of fun doing it.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you too, man. Come on.
Don't cry, because I'm going to start crying.
Yeah.
And I think, Mike, you treat every episode the same, right?
Pretty much. I'm here. I talk when I'm spoken
That's
to.
about it.
Yeah.
Bring up an apple too. You won't get him to shut up though.
Yeah.
But that's why we love
We
you.
love Mike.
Well, I'm
Oh,
older.
please.
I'm the oldest one here.
Don't even
so-
get the old card going.
I'm the oldest one here, so.
Yeah, but I've been using Mac long. I've been using Apple products longer than GT
True.
has.
That is true. That is
Valid point.
With the exception of Steve, you guys are all freaking kids compared to me.
Oh, thanks
least
for
in
I'm
singling
only
me
a
out.
couple years younger than you, Mike. So
well.
So,
If anybody's like even in their 30s, I could be your
but
dad.
then again, when GT was in high school, they were still using slide rules. But other than that,
Well, you know what's funny? You mentioned that, Mike, is that in my high school, the first computer I ever saw was an Apple II. We had an Apple II in high school, one Apple II. But my very first computer,
Me too, but our school was cheap.
but my very first computer was a Timex Sinclair 1000.
that was my very first one too.
Well, one of the first computers I ever used in school was an
Here,
Apple
Greg.
II. We still had. I can't even see that, Mike. What is that?
Oh, I showed it to GT. It's a slide rule.
Oh,
yeah.
you know, I actually used one of those long time ago. I couldn't even begin to tell you how to use it now.
I still have one.
I have one too, but
So do I. Never use it anymore, but I do have one.
But yeah, my grade school, when I was in kindergarten, we had a whole computer lab still full of Apple IIs. They replaced them with Pentium 2 IBMs the very next year.
That makes me sad that you had a computer in kindergarten. They told us to go play outside and to do stuff. You had a computer in kindergarten.
Dude, yeah.
But it was Apple IIs, Jay.
That makes me sad.
I
didn't even know what a computer was.
I
was like,
had a
was in
computer
middle
lab
school.
full of PRS 80s in junior high school.
It was the early.
Okay, I don't even want to.
It was the early 70s for me when I was in kindergarten. So.
Yeah.
Look at Ken's like.
Say about that.
Kindergarten was 1997, 1998 for me.
Oh God!
God,
Okay,
that
when
was only
Greg
3
was
years
in
off
when
graduating from high
when
school.
GT was in high school, they were still using Selectric.
Well, actually, they were. I learned to type on an IBM Selectric, believe it or not.
Look at the chat, Grudy.
Guy.
My wife has T-shirts older than you.
Wow, dude.
Well, Wendy, I just turned 28 today. So,
You're still a youngin'.
Well, you know what I lovingly
Cardinals
call
are
you, which I can't say on the
What,
stream,
millennial?
but effing millennial. Let's see. That covers everybody,
Well, except
right?
for our guests.
Now, not to put you on the spot, but our guests, have you seen enough of Maciak to have any favorite moments? Or?
This is gonna sound totally lazy, but my favorite one was the Mac OS 10 like evolution one. I watched most of that episode. It was a good nostalgia trip. And
Well,
actually,
I think you were in the chat during the whole thing.
yep, yeah,
Yeah.
I was there because I really liked it. And you know, I don't know if I can talk about this publicly too much, but I love the fact that Greg has a bunch of Macs that he can put OS 10 on because that's going to come in handy for an upcoming video I'm doing. So thank you.
And I'm in fact setting up one of the Macs right now so I can actually
Yep.
get some of that film.
This I'll just give a hint to the public here. Patrons will get more soon, but this is going to be a computer tech history video that no one has ever done. Like, I researched it. No one's done a video on this
It's
stuff.
the strangest idea I've ever heard come out
I
of
know.
your mouth.
I texted you. I forgot what I started with as the
Do
text.
you want
I
to
was
go
like,
from the
Greg, I have
abacus all the way to today?
It's like Greg, I have a really weird video idea, but I think
Well, the
people are
funny
gonna...
thing is, it does have a lot to do with an abacus.
It
in a
does
way.
actually. That's why I was scared for a second. I was like, did you find out what I'm talking about? It does
Okay,
kinda
now I'm
have-
intrigued. What the hell are you guys up
I'll
to?
tell you guys off the record because it's still kind of down the road. But
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just threw that
Yeah,
out there,
my-
kid.
my
I didn't know
last
what you were
tour-
doing. So
No, that's what I thought was funny about it because it kind of relates to an abacus.
Yeah,
actually.
two or three of my last videos, Ken, have been just me setting up the Macs to film your videos.
See, that's the best part because, well, first of all, thank you for helping. But secondly, I think it's always great if you can do, because I've done this too, like if you have a goal for a video and to get to that goal, you have to do other work. And if you can
Yeah.
document that work, boom, you just made 3 videos.
Yep.
So fun
It's
times.
Greg's cinematic universe of unboxing Macs.
Yeah, you notice, guys, that we have not been invited to partake in this latest video.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, you could if you want.
You all are invited to my recapping party in my basement. Bring aside-
I'll be
I
there.
need a lot of stuff recapped. I really do.
Yeah.
I do
And
too.
I know that Christian watches every single episode of Maciak, so he must have a favorite,
Oh yeah, come on, Christian.
right?
as he
What?
says,
as he's sleeping most of the time.
Well, it's like 4 a.m. soon, so
Yeah.
I watch the episodes whenever I have time, and my favorite ones are probably the ones that are non-Intel crap. So, 68K, PowerPC, love it.
All right, fair enough. I guess we need some
Yeah.
more of that content. I'll just sit
And-
here and be
So
quiet
Mike and
because I know
Steve?
nothing about it.
We're pointing at you.
that was most of my solo stream was talking about old crap.
Dude, I enjoyed your solo streams, not just because I could sit here with a rum and coke and do nothing, but it was well put together.
Oh my God.
I have always said your production quality is good, and even for a live stream,
I
it's
try.
good.
Thank you.
I honestly, okay,
And he
so I
doesn't
know.
spend an hour cleaning a damn mouth.
You watched it and you loved it. Just admit
Well,
it.
I just
I
watched
didn't
the
watch
whole
it.
thing. We have this thing on YouTube called Fast Forward, damn it.
Exactly. That's what I did.
What were you gonna say, Ken?
Oh, I was gonna say, I know I told you guys the story, but for everyone else, when you did your solo stream a while ago, I was in a hotel because I was doing a video shoot, and yep, I had the volume up waiting for the show to start, and I'm like, okay, I got some time, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm sitting in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear this like Mac startup sound like blast in the room, and I'm like, who's got a Macintosh like in the hotel? What is this? And then I hear this music start playing, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm on the grabber, and I come out, and I'm like, oh yeah, the stream started.
That must have been awesome.
That was great. Yes.
Well, a few minutes before the stream, my power was out for whatever reason, and I actually called Jay to say, hey, let the guys know, because I had no LTE or anything. Something went wrong. And the power came back on. Every machine in my house that is set to turn on after a power failure
like the 3 Mac Minis, boom, boom, boom. But it's like, what the heck is going on here? It's like a
It's like that,
forest.
it's like that
Alert,
Back
you
to
know
the
your power's
Future,
back on.
like Back to the Future, where
Yeah,
they
that's how you
all
know.
bong at the same time.
All the clocks. Yep.
Well, at least it was a good test for your breaker box. You know you can handle it now.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
true.
we should do
Very
the
true.
video on that. All of us. You line up a wall with every Mac you got, all on a master
I'm
switch.
actually
and
going
then
to
you
do
just
that.
Fire it up. See
I'm
what-
pay for
going
my
to do
power
that.
bill.
Tell you right now, I will blow a breaker.
Oh, I know I'll blow a breaker.
If I
I will
if
too.
I answer cluster, I might make it.
What I want to do is I want to get all my Macs that I can get to plug in and power on the network and talking to each other all at once for a video.
Dude, you only have one working outlet in your entire house. How are you going to pull
And one
that off?
Ethernet slot too.
I've got 2 working walls in that studio. Only one of the walls are dead so far.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh my
he
god.
said he did fix the table by WD-4ing it all over the place.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
coated in
Lord.
About time.
WD-40.
Now, if you can only take the chains off those dogs so that they're silent.
No, that's their collars, Jack.
Now I
That's
have
the
to
collars.
say, because it has been killing me this entire episode, I want that tam that is behind you, Ken. I want your tam. I want it
mean
so bad.
This tab?
Oh, this whole
This Tam that you said you weren't going to even have unboxed or showed yet?
I mean, you mean this tab? Okay, I'm just kidding. So I mean, it's
He has to
people-
show up, and he's better than everyone else. So
people. I'm just silently flexing it, okay? But-
Silently, sure.
So people, it's already been unboxed. Like people who watched the Computer Festival episode know that it was unboxed because I literally picked it up off of Brian's table when I bought it from him. But
Yeah.
I have not turned it on or plugged it in. I've done nothing with it because I'm holding out for a potentially very special episode.
And
Okay,
it's going to be
so
an
I'm
awesome
going to give you a word of
episode, I can
advice.
tell
If
you
it works
that.
I'm
out,
going to give
yeah.
you a word of advice, Ken. Open
Yes.
it up first and make sure nothing's shorted out.
Yes.
Okay.
that battery has
Brian tested it for me. He said it works. I saw it on his table, but I never like plugged it in myself. But according to him, it's all working, except for maybe one part. But no spoilers.
Well,
That's
Yeah,
all
the
I
first-
didn't the G5 guy
yeah,
tell
and
you
the
it
first
worked?
who donated to G5 said that worked
Yeah.
too.
Good
Yeah,
point.
the G5 guy did, yeah. And
Um,
it probably leaked during the shipping.
and for those who may not
Uh-huh.
know, and this part's not a secret really because it was revealed in the episode at the Computer Festival. This isn't your normal TAM. This is actually a G3 mod.
I
It's-
forgot about that.
It's a
I
little,
forgot about
Rocky
that
just
episode.
fainted.
Yeah.
it's a little special. Yeah. So.
So it's actually useful.
So we'll see. We'll
I'm
see that soon.
jealous.
We'll see that
No,
soon.
nobody probably identifies the weird thing I have behind me on the desk, though.
So what's the on the desk?
A tech step.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a tech step.
It's an Apple calculator, it looks
What
like.
is that?
An
I've
Apple.
never seen that.
Okay, honestly,
What
I'll
the
admit,
heck?
I've never seen one of those before. That looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about it in his last live stream.
You want to
Yeah, you
trick
got
Sam?
well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's start talking about that.
That's not a bad trade.
No,
Ken's like, oh, maybe.
So, as the people viewing this can tell, there's a lot of stuff coming up that is currently very hush hush. But after the show is done, we go off air, we start talking, we have some drinks, talk some more.
bribing each other.
All the secrets are gonna get spilled. So if you shoot me a few bucks on PayPal, I might sell them to you. Just putting that out there.
Noted.
My information can be bought.
All right, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours now, so
Oh yeah.
Oh no, this is 2
Yeah.
hours. Wow.
We're there.
Coming up, why ask?
Yeah, we might as well just go into overtime.
All right, 4 hours.
We've got
I
people.
don't think so.
No,
It's
not
an
4 hours.
anniversary. We can go over.
Oh, I
it.
know.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Well,
That's true.
we should talk a little bit about, the vacation I had from hosting the show for a few weeks there. The reason why Steve took over and Grudy did the solo shows. Because, yeah, well, as everybody should know by now, I did move from Arizona to Virginia. So I am now living in Fairfax, Virginia now. So I had to stop doing the show because I had to pack everything up, of course. But I tell you what, Steve and Grudy, you guys did an awesome job on hosting the show. Appreciate that. Kept it going. We were talking about taking a hiatus for almost 3 or 4 weeks while I moved. But because of those guys, and I thank them a lot, they kept it going. So we didn't miss out on any weeks that we had there. And you got to thank
Happy to do it.
Thanks, Steve, for that awesome intro, because that's going to be our new intro from now on until we get another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fine, whatever.
He's not better at all.
We've been using yours for a long time, though, Jay.
Very long time.
I know. I'll make another one that blows his out of the water. Don't worry.
I think what we could do is I only showed Jaguar booting up. You had Tiger, so I could insert your little Tiger boot up animation if you mind. Best of both worlds.
As always with everything, we'll settle this in UT. It's all right.
So I know we're episode 49 here, but speaking of UT, we did have for Halloween, we were going to play Unreal Tournament and stream it, but that never happened. So,
but we did play.
Technically, I guess.
But we did play.
We did play. So this is episode 49, but I guess you could kind of almost say it's 50-ish.
Ish, yeah.
Ish, something like that. You do have 50 videos on the channel though, so there you go.
We do.
Because I have that intro video that I put on there. The friends, 5 friends or 6 friends thing.
Yeah.
It's still on there. So technically this is our 50th video that's on here.
Yeah, we need to step it up. All right.
We got to catch up with Steve and his 1,000 subscribers.
We do.
Don't ask me how that happened. I have no
Well,
freaking
I'm going to
clue.
tell you guys something. As we were sitting here, I was seeing the emails come in because I'm the one that gets the emails for the since it's basically on my YouTube channel, but all these guys have full access to it. That's the reason why Steve could broadcast to it, or Jay or Grudy, whoever. They all have access to this channel. But I'm like the main owner, I guess you might want to say, of the channel. But we're all equal owners of MacYak. And that's the way we like to keep it.
Just like with anything MacYak. Yeah.
That's the way we like to keep it. But we got about, I think, 3 new subscribers while we were on here tonight. So
nice.
You got
Thank you.
7.
7.
7 looks like.
That's awesome.
Maybe, yeah. I have to look at the emails again.
Why does Ken know better than us?
Ken is our new analytics
He
manager.
knows.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
Here's. If you want to know the secret? Here. This is my secret. I loaded the page early because I got here early. It says 403. I go to the page now. You know what it says? It says 410. So I did the math.
Oh, Ken, some kind of math genius over there.
Who's this calculator? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, calculator. I mean, abacus. I mean, I'm not doing anything with calculator.
You better watch out. The guards in the lair are going to come after you again.
Oh, shoot.
Who?
The guards in the... You don't watch his videos a lot, do you?
Oh,
I try.
I only bring it up every so often. I drop in. There is lore. There seriously is lore to the Crazy Ken show, and I drop it in every so often. And all I can say is keep watching because it's about to get intense.
I remember the episode where you went outside you were doing the pictures on the new Pro Cam or the new iPhone
yeah.
Pro, and
They started shooting at me.
yeah, you could hear them shooting at him. And
I'm gonna admit this is like the time I can reveal these like stupid secrets. I'm really not that in shape. My knees hurt for a couple days after doing that running scene because I don't really run like ever.
Glad I'm not the only one.
It's so bad though.
That was fun.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch a few of your videos after this.
I mean, you're under no obligation. If you want to, though.
Dude, I was there for all your live streams where
That's the thing. Like,
you
you're not
butchered that Mac Mini, then you fixed it, then you broke it again, and then you put that.
No, it just never worked. It just never worked. Colin sent a text to Greg, and he was like, I can't say it on the stream, but he was like, his Mac Mini is.
Yeah.
And if Colin says that,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
Oh man. That was fun.
Dana is asking if you want to get into that. How you lost all that weight?
So I started counting
Lifting
calories.
next cubes.
Yeah, lifting the next cube. I just honestly, legit, I used an app called Lose It, and you just log your food. You can even scan barcodes if you want on the package.
Yeah.
And you just count your calories, and I realized, I took in too much. And I also did Nutrisystem for a while, and I learned a lot from that. And then I just made my own diet plan using the Lose It app. So I just counted my calories for a while, and then I stopped because now it's all in my head. And like from May to September, I lost like 30 pounds, and I've maintained it off because now it's just habit. So that was pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have about half a page of more stuff that we could cover.
I don't think it's half a page. But...
I think it's going to drag
That's like
us out
a
a
quarter
bit
of
long.
a page.
So what do you guys want to do?
Considering that Thanksgiving is on our next episode, do we want to do a short episode then, or?
I think that might get me divorced, but I could try.
Well, I definitely don't have anything to do Thanksgiving.
So
I'm
another
going to
solo
ask
show.
your significant other, Greg,
Yeah.
GT,
She'll
or not
either-
GT, but Grudy.
Normally,
GT as well.
we don't do Mac Yak on holidays. So
Yeah, normally. It's all up to you guys.
Yeah, it's yes. My wife is confirming I will get divorced if I show up for Mac. So that's a no for me.
Just a shameless plug here. I will say I am releasing a new Crazy Ken episode on Thanksgiving, but it's not like a normal one. It's kind of like a bonus one because I am taking a vacation, but it's like
Nice.
it's like a bonus treat. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So we can all watch that, and then we'll take a hiatus on Mac Yak until the week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we can do that.
That works. All right.
So,
but that still doesn't answer my question.
Let our guests decide. They're very patient.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Put the ball in their court. I like it.
well, we know that.
What can be done on this show?
Well, Christian
Repeat the question.
Christian doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, so
No, we don't. I've been to one though.
You've been to one.
I
of those
say we invite
Thanksgiving
him to
celebrations.
Thanksgiving over Discord or something. We must include him again.
Maybe we could have a UT night that night.
Maybe.
Oh, I could do that after 10 o'clock. I could do some-
find
Well,
a nice
you need to
Thanksgiving.
let me know because
map.
I'll have to lug one of my computers with me to Kansas City. So
Well, it's probably not much different from Quake, so I'll probably end up whooping your asses.
Oh,
That sounds
you
like
gotta join us
sounds
now.
like a challenge.
Ken,
Christian has some.
Greg, that sounds like a threat.
Ooh.
All
Ken,
right.
Brent, we need to get you set up on UT.
Oh gosh.
I don't first person
wait
shooter
every
much, so I'll suck, but I'll be there to
we,
try.
Some of us.
We used to do like deathmatch video game stuff on Computer Clan Live back in the day, like all the time.
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, I
Get
stopped.
Ken
but-
on there.
Yeah, we'll have
Guess
a,
what,
we'll have a-
Ken? You're gonna use that TAM to see if it can play UT stuff for
I mean,
It'll run 99, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
we'll probably run 99.
Yeah, you
Oh,
need
boy.
at least a GP 250, 300, I'd say.
12
to
gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
12 gigs.
That thing
Actually, I
will
think
lift off.
99 only needs a 604E.
Oh, there you go.
But have you actually run it on a 604E, Greg?
Oh, it runs like crap on a Wall Street. I've tried it on a Wall Street.
Okay. All right. I just wanted, because I have, and it runs like garbage. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
I
I ran
played
it
some
on my-
matches on a clamshell.
I ran it on
still.
a G3 upgraded 8550. Yeah, it's horrible. I think it's the video more than the processor.
Yeah, it's a little mixture of both there, but yeah.
Yeah, Dana.
If you want any experience of running UT on older systems, you're looking at the guy.
Dana goes, it's hard to suck at UT more than I do. So, yeah, anytime we see Dana in there, he's like an easy picking, just like me. I'm usually an easy target for Jay.
What? You kill me more than I kill you.
No.
What the frig are you talking about? Everybody's easy pickings for Jay except for
Steve. Yeah.
Don't hate me
because
I whoop y'all with a single button mouse.
Yeah, he plays with a puck mouse.
Oh, nice.
That's his secret. That's why you got to clean it. All that blood and sweat just goes into that mouse. And...
Oh, dude, that is the secret because the puck is accurate. Like, try it.
I mean, Brent
puck.
plays on a trackball.
By the way, this is what I have.
Oh.
Now you got it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like
this detaches so that way you can clean it. It's necessary to do that every.
We
now
need
and
an hour
again.
and a half video to learn how to do it, though, Brent. Come on. Get with
You gotta,
I can occupy an hour and a half worth of
stretch it out. Got to get that advertising.
You know what he'll do is he'll make a 5-minute video and he'll just time lapse it to 1.5 hours.
like times.
Yeah, you'll see it go real slow. You take the ball.
That's quality
out.
video
We're
right
getting
there,
too
man.
many screenshots for memes right now. No.
Oh boy.
We're playing with too many balls on stream. Hold on.
What?
All right, when the conversation starts turning this way, it's time to it's time to wrap it up.
All right, guys.
Well, I do want to throw in one more thing real quick. Mac-Yak would not be possible without all the communities that we're in. Various Facebook groups, like we met each other through Low End Mac, Mac Pro, Facebook groups. That's how we started playing UT. That went over into Mac-Yak, and then we met some other guys. And so this is a 1-year anniversary for us, but also kind of like a celebration for a community, because who knows where this is going to go by the 2-year anniversary. So I'm really looking forward to that.
True.
And I hope that our current guests, including Michael Manna, who had to leave early, will return one day to hang out with us. Because I do like the streams where we have guests, because it writes itself. We don't even need topics or anything. We just blab.
I
2
must
hours
say,
gone.
for never having attended a single show, I will admit it's a very cozy environment here. I love it.
See, and that's where the snuggling
Now
comes in
you're
after
hooked.
the show. Don't forget, we
No,
snuggle.
but lovely.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm just impressed. I'm impressed at how well we've managed this many people in a call.
I am too, honestly. I am surprised it works so well.
Yeah, and Brent, now this gives you an excuse to go back into our giant catalog and watch some.
Watch them all.
Yeah, all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll take you a year to
Well,
watch them
Brent,
all because
we may or may not be calling you in next time we have a stream. So just,
Well, and also a
I
special
may or
thank
may
you
not be
to Mike's cat, because when that cat starts up, there's really no having a conversation. So it was awesome that the cat was
especially
quiet
when his
today.
cat was in heat.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not.
yeah.
They're not in heat right now, so you're good.
Yeah. That was something else.
And Prada here, Prada, the only time Prada makes noise is when he wants me to feed him. So, and that's the one that's always hanging around me during the streams of
It's
football.
funny, my 2 dogs are laying right here together. They're like snuggled up to each other, spooning each other, so.
I just close my door. Keeps the kids out, keeps the cats out. Works on everything.
Keeps the wife out, right?
Except for
Yes.
tonight.
She admitted it.
She's gonna come
Keeps
barging
everybody
in the
out.
door in
Oh,
5,
she goes, really?
4.
But it's the doorknob in this house. The doorknobs are very old. So on the bathroom door, every time you closed it, the knob kept coming off. So I had to borrow the other side of my doorknob to fix that one. So you can't even get into this room right now if you tried, because there's no doorknob on the other side. So
What
That's
if you
like a
accidentally closed the door?
I did that a few times, yes.
Because he hangs his,
I forgot I had my window open. I walk out to grab a drink. I hear slam. I'm like, oh, crap.
Jay, one word or two word actually. Doorstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Just stick a Mac in front of the door. You got plenty of those.
Yeah, I got a
Still
liquid
want
cooled
mine in front
G5
of
I'm
the
not
door.
using.
So does
Anyway.
Ken, as a matter
Yeah.
of fact.
Say what
That's
now?
a liquid cool G5
Oh.
you're not using.
That's yeah. It's literally just there to hold on. Okay, you know what? You want to know the secret? I have a portable air conditioner back there, and it's kind of ugly, so I just stack computers.
There
in
you
front of
go.
it. It's actually
My
a
wife
decent
doesn't let me do that
looking
anymore.
one.
All right. The awkward
It's
silence.
a neat solution, though.
Yeah, it's just not. You know, the air conditioner works. It's great, but it's not really aesthetically pleasing for the background. So flex the TAM over here, flex the thing that exploded over there.
That works.
As long as it's not leaking.
All right,
though.
GT. You've done this 49 times, so I'll let you wrap this up.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't even have it in the notes there. I usually read it off the notes.
I have no idea what to even say. Usually by this time, I'm tuned out. I'm reading my email. I'm not even paying attention to what you say.
Wow.
All right, guys.
Oh,
Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. This is our anniversary issue, and plus the first one of me being back here. Also, thanks to our guests, Ken, Brent, Christian, and Michael Manna. Appreciate all you guys showing up tonight. Make sure you follow us on our Discord. I got the Discord link up there, so if you're not a member of our Discord, go ahead and use that link right there to join our Discord.
You're going to have to if you want to see Rocky's blooper reel.
Yes.
I will also link it in the description, so we have a link there in the description.
There already is a link in the description.
Or not description,
Chat.
My wife is about to prove to me
chat.
that she can open the door from the
The
outside.
chat.
Hold on.
But anyways, make sure you like, subscribe.
I can hear it.
Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel here if you haven't already. We're over 400. Our next milestone is 500. So we're gonna be hitting that pretty soon, and then we're gonna hit 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're gonna be up to where Steve is and hit 1,000. So we need to get that up there because we need to get monetized so we can actually have our fun together so we can all meet up. Because we're planning on doing that.
Yeah, recap party.
Which, by the way, now the most expensive person to get to the meetup is me because I'm the farthest away from everybody.
Yes, you are. I used to be the farthest.
Whose bright idea was it to go live in Kansas?
Also, we're on Twitter. Steve, if you could throw the Twitter link out there, or the Twitter
Will do.
name. We're also on Twitter. Steve will throw stuff out there every now and then. He's the, I guess, the owner of the Twitter account. Just like Rocky actually is the owner of the Discord channel.
I don't own anything.
And you're the...
Well, I'm the main owner of the channel. Everybody else is the owner on here as well. So you all have access to it. So you could actually delete stuff off of here or whatever you want to do. So, but we trust everybody. So, but we appreciate you guys watching us for a whole year and putting up with us and sometimes our stupidity, sometimes our craziness. But hey, we enjoy talking to you guys, especially on Discord. And I think that's about it. I don't have anything else unless...
Yeah, and we always ask for feedback. You know, if you have an idea for a topic or something you want us to touch on, let us know in Discord. We got a whole separate channel for it. You can drop your suggestions in there. We'll gladly cover it.
Yep. All right. So
here's to another year.
With that, we're going to say adios, and we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks because we will be off next week for Thanksgiving, but we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for hanging out.
Enjoy your turkey.
Night.
Get lost.